Hey everybody, uh, how are you all? Hello, I'm Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. And at the moment, I don't even know what's going on, mainly because I don't have things set up the way I want it to. Hi, how are you doing? Hey everybody, hey Barantor, Crit Twitch, Rissa, hi everybody. It is good to see you all. Banjo, hey Scabinak, what is, I just, how are you? It's a Saturday. Look, I don't know if you've been checking my little calendar thing, but I want you to know that I don't have a stream tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm grading. Seraphim Station, which is what I've been doing on Sundays, that is going to be next Sunday, not tomorrow. So in case you were wondering, I do not have a stream tomorrow. Tomorrow, I have grading, because all of my grades are due Monday morning at 9 a.m., and I need to make sure that my grades are... I need to make sure my grades are done, so I'm going to be spending basically all of my time from now, well, after I finish stream, until like 9 in the morning grading, although I'll probably take a short nap. The thing is, when Ice Bunny, when you say I'll get an A and done, what you're advocating is for me to not do my job, right? And it's not fair. Fine. It's not fair to those students who worked really, really hard and did an excellent job to get the same grade as somebody who turned in 3 pages of a 15 to 20 page paper, is all I'm saying. Hey Origami Shuriken. Rissa says, kicking off vacation with City of Lights and Shadow, then Saturday at the Foxhole is a balm for my soul. I love that. I love a good, yeah. Anyway, look, here's the thing. For those who do not know, or I don't know, for me, grading is one of the most important responsibilities I have. It is that, and I take my grading very, very seriously, because my job in that moment, the grade itself that's on the paper is not all, when I grade, I don't just put a grade on the paper, I also give them comments. I have to read the thing and think about the thing and ponder it and give them good commentary back so they know what they did well, what they need to improve in the future, and maybe how they can do it. I take my job as grading very, very seriously, and I think that, because what is grading? Grading is feedback. Grading is you giving the students feedback so that they can be better in the future. Oh, wait. I'm gonna give you everything. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Barantor, for the host. That is much appreciated. Every host counts. Every host counts in large amounts. Oh, thank you. Before I play for you, Rissa, I'm just going to turn off the background music. So, hey, Volus dude. Wow, teachers give commentaries. That is such a luxury. Yeah, Ice Buddy, again, you're in a very different educational system than I am, is what I'm going to say. We're in very different educational systems. Yeah, and for me, that's actually part of what I get paid for, right? I get paid to give students commentary and to mentor them and to help make them better students. Do you know what I mean? That's... my job is to teach them. And the grading part is part of the teaching process. It's not the thing that happens afterwards. Origami says, on a musically related note, my tea blend this morning is called Purple Rain. Is it good? Is it good? This is what I want to know. Yeah, and the thing is, not happening when you get it for free. Well, what goes into it? That's a very good question, Rissa. Origami Shuriken. What goes into your tea? Yeah, so again, my students are not getting this education for free. My students are paying for this education, unless they're getting scholarships, but the education is not free. And so for me, commentary is a vital, like it's part of my job, and it's an important part of the teaching process. It's so that they and I really think about my comments quite a lot. I don't, like, I really do. I think about what can I do to make sure the comments are good? What can I do to make sure that they're getting commentary that will make them better students, that will aid them in their learning process? Yeah, like I take my grading very seriously, and that's why it takes me a long time to do it. It's not fast because I really have to think about it, you know? So let's see. What's in this? Kenyan purple tea, lemongrass, and hibiscus. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, Critwitch. I am an academic researcher, but those two things are not, but being an academic and researcher is not separate from being an educator for me. Those things feed into each other. So, for example, so like I talk about this to my students who sometimes don't understand. How many students are in your classes? It depends on the class. I'll have seminars that are capped at 15, and then I will have large lecture classes that are capped at large lecture classes. Large for the school that I teach at, not large for UCLA where I went as a grad student. So my large lecture classes are capped at 65. They used to be capped at like 120, but I wanted a slightly smaller, more intimate experience where the students could talk to each other more. Here, we're gonna do this for a second. There. I'll do that. Yeah, so I wanted a slightly smaller experience where the students could know each other a bit more, so I've capped my lecture courses at 65. But yeah, so I'm like at 15 for my seminars and 65 for my lecture courses. Somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Hey, Kieran Killane, thank you for the follow. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. We're at like, 658 follows, which makes me feel like I'm like a superstar rock star. I'm not, but I feel like it. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. We are hanging out doing that thing before we start playing the video game where we chat about the things and I get ready to play the banjo. So, we're there. That's a good number for college. When I was at UCLA, like our large lecture classes were 500 people, and I would tea for that. And when I was there, I also taught a class that was capped at 120. So like I can also do much larger classes than the 65 that I'm currently doing, and usually have TAs for that to help out with the grading. But I still think these things are important. 15, they do not open a class. Oh yeah, our seminars. Actually, I'm sorry, Ice Bunny. I have to change one of the things I said. Our seminars were capped at 15. We've reduced our cap to 12 in my department. So our seminars are capped at 12 now. And for some of the grad-only seminars, we might have 4 or 5 students only. Sometimes you might only have 3 or 4 students for graduate-only musicology classes or music studies classes. So yeah, no, because the point is that a seminar is a very different experience than a lecture course, and I teach them very, very differently. They're very, very different. I'm here. Hello, Atomica. Twitch is being troublesome. Stuck in chat only. Can't even go audio only. Only having the issue on Twitch. What? Wait, I need to let Atomica know in chat how I feel about this. Atomica. No! That's my comment. Yeah, come on, Twitch chat. Right, yeah, so I mean, and the thing is, the seminar, when you design a seminar, you design it very differently than a lecture course. They're very different sorts of beasts, and they do different things, right? They don't have the same purpose. Like a class with 5 people is very different from a class with 65 people. And I design the courses completely differently. I do very different kinds of assignments in those classes, and the experience is very different, and they're both really important. They both do important work. and you learn differently. So like with you're at one of those fancy schools where students pay for small seminars. True, except let me think. Yes. I'm trying to think about what the smallest classes were for. Well, you know, at UCLA, we also did have small seminars at UCLA. Not many of them. They were usually majors only. Yeah, not many. There were a couple. You could get small seminars at UCLA, which is a public university, but they were going to be most likely your what. But also, like where I teach now, they're going to be your major only, right? They're going to be like majors classes and much more narrow topics. Yeah. So, right. It's also lovely over ice. Ooh, it sounds really good. Our history department has some lecture classes where all 200 have to show up. Also remember in my lecture classes, I don't take attendance. Like you can show up or you cannot show up. But if you don't show up, that's not going to be great for you. But it's your choice because you're an adult and you get to do what you want to do. If you want to pay for a class and then not go, that's on you. Be back, Atomica. Twitch is so weird. I'm not seeing any drop frames on my end, by the way, for Twitch. So, yes. Oh, okay. All right. Why is your iPad being weird? Weird. Rissa says, Twitch has been troublesome lately for me. No matter the stream, random lag, and buffering issues. My phone seems to be a bit more stable, but it's not 100%. That's so strange. I think it must be because everybody's on Twitch right now. Crit Twitch says, I guess being a business major, we didn't have seminars. So while I think I understand what you're saying, I'm definitely not familiar. Are America considered 18-year-olds adults? Yes. 18-year-olds are... No. 21 is for drinking alcohol, but you're a legal adult at 18. At 18, you can vote. You can be drafted into war and die. You can get married. You can basically do everything. You're a legal adult at 18. The only thing you can't do is you can't drink until you're 21. And most car rental companies won't rent to you if you're under 25, but that's not the law. That's car rental companies. Why not drink? Because you can't own a pistol till 21 either? Really? Is that true? But you can own a long gun. That's interesting. Is that state by state or is that federal? Parentor. Is that state by state or is that federal? Because that's interesting. Why not drink? Because the United States has federal. Okay. Oh, we're talking. Ice Bunny asked. Hi, Anarch W. Ice Bunny asked whether she thought that Ice Bunny thought that in America people are not a legal adult until they're 21, and I pointed out that it was 18 actually. It's yes. The smoking age. I think the smoking age was 16, and now it's. I don't know if it's 21 now. I actually have no idea what the smoking age is at this moment. It might be 21. No issues at the moment, but that was my guess too. Too much use, yeah. Luckily, it was fine last night until you were talking about with asking Jeff about his favorite moment. Oh, so smoking is also 21? The reason why drinking is 21, Ice Bunny, is because there was a time when voting and drinking and all of that was... Well, first, I remember in the United States, there was a time when no one could drink at all because it was illegal. We had prohibition. And then it was 21, and then the Vietnam War happened, and all of these young people between 18 and 21 were being drafted, sent to war, and dying. And so there was a lot of protest about the fact that they couldn't drink or vote. And so the voting age and the drinking age got dropped down to 18. It was 16, but I was 11 when I started. Now I think it's 18. So it was 18 throughout the 60s and 70s. And then in the 1980s, which was a really backlash decade in general, you had the Satanic Panic. You had, like, there was a lot going on in the 80s. The 80s was a very backlash moment. And what ended up happening was that MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which was an organization founded by mothers, apparently. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they call themselves. Yeah, Just Say No, yeah. They set up this huge campaign saying that young people were drinking and driving and then dying, and they put all these, like, you know, ads on about how, like, little Susie got drunk and then on her high school prom died in a car accident because she was drunk and driving, or little Billy, who was like 16, was drinking and driving. Now, again, remember, the drinking age was 18, not 16, but whatever. So there were all these sort of advertisements going on and lobbying by Mothers Against Drunk Driving to raise the drinking age from 18 to 21 because they were worried about drinking and driving. And Ronald Reagan was the president at the time, and Ronald Reagan was was courting the family values, that kind of. Oh, the 80s was also when we got the parental warning stickers on CDs, right? The PMRC. There was like a lot of move to like censor music to protect the children, and like stop Dungeons and Dragons to protect the children, and also to lower the drinking age from 21 to 18. And what happened was that Ronald Reagan, there is no federal drinking age, right? There's no federal law saying the drinking age has to be 21. But what he did was he said that if you do not lower your drinking age, if you do not raise your drinking age to 21, we won't give you federal funds for your highways. And since the states needed federal funds for their highways, the states I'm pretty sure all the states raised their drinking age to 21. But it's technically on a state-by-state basis, in case you want to know. Yes. But there are also weird laws about that. So, and I know when I was in Texas, if you were married, you could drink even if you were under 21. So that was like also a tricky thing that like married people could drink. But yes. And Scabby Knack points out there are also dry counties, which there are. Dare, oh my gosh, yeah, right. All those things that were happening in the 80s. It was a really weird time. People forget that, but it was a really weird time. Atomica says, irony, where they make Jack Daniels is a dry county, so you can't buy Jack Daniels where they make it. Oh, wow. Wow. There are dry countries also. Some Muslim countries don't allow alcohol. Huh. I would like to congratulate drugs for winning the war on drugs, says Atomica. Aspany says, was little Susie not busy to turn into a mother by the prom after party? You know, this was... you know, here's the thing. That depends on where you live. A lot of, like, teen pregnancies for us is often socioeconomic. If you are middle class and up, your teen pregnancy rates are way lower than if you are working class, you know? Oh, no. You can't pin it all on Reagan. The labels thing was, the labels thing was Tipper Gore. Oh, yes. There was like a large, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Krellin. It was just... The 80s, Jared points out the 80s also created the PG-13 rating. Yes, it did. It was a weird decade. Rissa says, unrelated to the... Yeah, asks if I'd heard that Little Richard had passed away. I did, and I wanted to talk about Little Richard, actually. I did want to talk about that, and I will. Atomica says, I'm of two minds. On one, I dislike government over-regulating things. On the other, I'm okay with teenagers having less access to stupid things that can harm them, like smoking and drinking. Especially when their brains are not fully formed yet, and they're not legal adults, and companies were doing predatory advertising. You know what I mean? Like Joe Camel and whatnot. Middle America and the protecting our youth. Levi says, in what dreams are made of, cocaine Ronald gave us, the Nancy tried to save us by the time we had Motorola. Oh, yeah. Louisiana held out the longest for a few years. Yeah, because I imagine that some of the states were still trying to go with, and it was so interesting is that, why not make it 21 on the federal level then? It's the same, except that we're not, yeah, as Berentor points out, the federal government doesn't have that power. Our Constitution reserves a lot of rights to the individual states rather than the federal government. So the federal government, it's hard for the federal government to do things like that. They don't really have the power to do that. So, yeah. Yeah. Hey, J-Rab. I was thinking it was 16 allowed smoking and drinking and beer and wine and the rest. Much like, yes, it's true. To be fair, D. Snyder. Oh, Atomica. D. Snyder and smacked the shit out of Congress during the Liberal trial. It wasn't just smacked. Yes, it wasn't, although snacking would be good. It wasn't, D. Snyder was amazing. Hey, RD Snack, how are you? Welcome in. It wasn't just D. Snyder. Frank Zappa was really good, and you know who was also really interesting at the labels trial hearing, because it was a hearing, not a trial. Donny Osmond was also really interesting at that trial as well. He had really interesting things to say. Yeah, and then also Roy from Siegfried and Roy died. Rissa says, I'm so glad that California has announced that all residents will be sent mail-in ballots. Good for California. J-Rab says, Atomica, in that regard, if the community just looked out for them, we wouldn't have to have the government have rules. The problem is that some communities are messed up, though, right? I mean, I think that's one of the problems. Like some communities, because people will make communities that are sketch. Do you know what I mean? Like there are communities where they don't think women should go to school at all. And then like you can't necessarily, like that's a community that should not, that's nice for you, but right, like there was a big problem with like say Amish communities not wanting, actually not just Amish, like there are problems with certain communities, certain villages deciding they don't think that girls should go to school. Or if it was the South in the 1950s, that rather than desegregating the schools, they would just shut down all the public schools and just reopen private white-only schools. So, like, villages and communities are not always the best arbiters. Like, they're not always good for, say, for example, human rights. So I'm just saying, like, we have to, like, you know, history has told me that I'm a little bit sketchy about that sometimes. Hello, Karen. Just moved to my home country. Here in Germany, your parents' guardians are allowed to get you drunk at the age of 14. Yes. I lived in Germany for 5 years, and it's a very different drinking culture there. It's a very different culture. Living in Germany was so interesting, and I think important for me, you know, as like a kid. Because... Anyway... Anyway, sorry, I got distracted by the banjo for a moment. Yeah. Atomica says, I love when D. Snyder basically came out and said he would kick the shit out of anyone who messed with John Denver after the trial. Yeah. There was like, well, Donnie was a little bit rock and roll. That's amazing. Anarchtv says, Finland also had prohibition as well. It became a problem when Finland had Olympics and they needed something to drink for tourists, so Hartwell was tasked making 2 long drinks. One was grape and gin, the other was brandy long drink. Really? Anarchtv, when did you have prohibition? When was it? Like, how long was your prohibition and when did you have it? That's really interesting. J-Rap says, but the same can be said about the government. Some have goodwill, others don't care about human rights. That's true. But I will say, as a person of color, long-term speaking, it has been the federal government that got me equal rights, right? And also the Supreme Court, which is part of the federal government, right? So states' rights has never been good in many states for people of color. Now, for black people, let's be more specific there, because the federal government did the Chinese Exclusion Act, which was really bad, and also Japanese internment, which was really bad. But generally speaking, I would say that there have been, I mean, and if you want it so that, I mean, but that's why we had the Civil War, right? We had a Civil War so that it wouldn't be that some states would have slavery and others would not. And so, well, like, with things like the Tuskegee experiment and some of these things, it's not like I trust the federal government 100%, but if we had no police forces, we'd have militias of people like the Klan who would murder me. And that makes me feel really uncomfortable, you know? And how they treated native populations. Oh yeah, Vulpas. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, the way that I mean, the federal government has treated, yeah, really got screwed. Oh yeah. I mean, terribly. Just awfully. And I think, I think most police forces are the Klan. I wouldn't say most, but there is some overlap. Music mystery item update. Ship May 2. Arrival June. Ooh. Finnish prohibition started in 1919 and ended in 1932. Really? That's about the same time as U.S. prohibition. Anarchtv, why? That's so interesting. Why was your prohibition about the same as ours? Why? What was going on? That's so interesting to me. Yeah, the federal government is not a shining example also. Um, but also there are states who have been very problematic, and so I get worried about that. I get worried about that, you know. But yeah, but JRAB is correct. The federal government, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, just I mean, awful, awful. Andrew Jackson, one of our worst presidents ever, genocidal creep show. Ugh, so bad. You know what I mean? Oh, it's really upsetting. Carlin says, Virginia is a state that shut down public schools instead of schooling blacks. To be fair, it was one county. People ran away to Alabama for safety. Krellin, I know that you think every president's bad. I saw your, I think you had a post about it, right? But I am less cynical than that, mainly because my life is considerably better than my mother's life, who had to drink at a colored watering fountain when she was a kid. And so like I don't have the ability to be as completely down about it, because I've had within my family lineage real material extreme changes in what kind of life I could have had based on the actions of some presidents. So I can't just like, now because they're human beings, not all of them are the best people, et cetera, but I can't oh, hi Mrs. Sowell. Hi Mrs. Sowell. I can't you know, I can't just like, I don't have the privilege of just being like, oh, all presidents suck, all governments suck, because that ends up not being great for people like me. Let's see. Oh, I was about to say hi, but my dinner is far. That thing you're like, hi. Let's see. Virginia, yeah. The effed up part is the federal government is still working better than others in the world. It could just be doing so much better. Yes, Atomica. You know, yeah. Antarctica says, I haven't looked into it much. There's Curiosity Museum where you can see propaganda of the time for Prohibition, and there's a box and you can see 2 livers of one healthy one that was destroyed by alcohol. Those boxes were brought to school to teach kids the dangers of alcohol. Antarctica, I have a question. Trooper, bad people can do good things, and good people can do bad things, right? Antarctica, when were women allowed to vote in Finland? Do you know what year women got suffrage in Finland? I have a question about that. Volpa says the temperance movement was big in Europe, as well as the US, Canada, and a bunch of Scandinavian countries had their own prohibition. That's so interesting. How do you feel about self-segregation, where it feels like we are creating communities that are segregating themselves? Mrs. Out, holy shit, are those all comics? No, these are all gaming books. Yes, thank you, Sal. There are that many in existence. There are more. Self-segregation is not the same thing as segregation, right? Those are two different things. And I think that you have to think, and also you have to wonder about, you have to ask yourself the question, is it self-segregation or is it response to oppression? And those are different things altogether. And you have to be sort of careful about sort of parsing those differences. Rissa says, I think one of the points in the Friday stream, good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things. Yeah. I believe that, really? Antarctica, women could vote in Finland the day it was founded? Good for Finland. Good for Finland. Yeah. Because women couldn't vote in France in the 40s. Just noting it. The existence of System Bulgan, a way of prohibition. I do not, in fact, own all the games. Not even most of them. I'm missing so many games. Jewish ghettos were often good for Jews and people. Yes. Full suffrage, 1906. I mean, so before, a day before. Oh, okay. All right. Atomica says, when a lot of Italians were immigrating to the U.S., they would buy entire city blocks and move a village of people into them so they could live with their neighbors from the old country. Krellin says having a part of the city where they could follow their own laws and beliefs weren't prosecuted by the neighbors was often a step up for them. But also oftentimes, for example, the reason why, for example, many people of color live in people of color neighborhoods is not because they're self-segregating, but because nobody would rent to them outside of those neighborhoods. They may have wanted to move to other parts of the country, but they were not allowed to because there was redlining and housing covenants, right? So it's oftentimes not that you are doing it to yourself because you're like, oh, I'm so special, but often it's because you have no other choice. Many times Jewish ghettos were the only places that Jews were allowed to live, or et cetera, et cetera. Like they weren't really, oftentimes people just would not rent to them. And if they tried to rent to them, people would burn down their apartments. So, right. So like there's a point where like sometimes people are like, sometimes it's not self-segregation, it's enforced segregation. And even when it seems, yeah, that's right. And even when it seems like self-segregation, I think it's important to remember the context. Not all white people are bad. I'm going to say this because I think it's important. Sal says white people are the freaking worst. And I would say white supremacy is the worst. But I think that I really think that saying things like white people are the worst ends up not being healthy for white people, which then ends up not being healthy for people of color. Because when white people are sort of, I think, Carlin, I know you're joking, but I'm very serious about this. There are a lot of people who are white supremacists, and when I say white supremacists, I mean full-on Nazis, neo-Nazis, and all that. A number of them become neo-Nazis because they feel like they're supposed to be ashamed of being white. They hear a lot of messages saying that like being a white person is terrible, all white people are awful, and it doesn't feel good to feel ashamed of who you are. And so in response, they become neo-Nazis. And so I think it's really important to make sure that there are visible and possible ways to be a person with privilege, white or male or straight or cis or American or not working class, and not be vilified. I think that if the only way that people imagine who you are of being is a bad person, either you're like, okay, fine, I will be a bad person, you lean into it, and that's no good for anybody, or you become destroyed, and then you can't be a good ally. Like, you can't be a good ally if you're racked with guilt, and oftentimes the backlash is that people end up becoming like red pillars or neo-Nazis or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and that's not healthy. And I worry about what the impact on people of color when white people are full of a lot of shame, and that's usually not great, And so like I really try to I just think it's not healthy, and I want people to be healthy because unhealthy people often do unhealthy things, and sometimes they externalize that to other people. And also I don't want people suffering. Kieran says, and here I live in a district consisting both of single-family houses and 14-plus-story buildings with apartments for rent because city planners wanted to ensure the classes mingle. Oh, that's so. Kieran, what city do you live in? Atomica says, I lived in a very, very white township of 15K people. Back in the 90s, everyone knew the two POC families. It's a lot more open now. Krellin says they should be ashamed of being white because white is just not black. So they should be proud of being German or English or Irish or Italian or whatever. I put an X on Italian because many Italians, like Mediterraneans, aren't white. In the United States, they're white now, but they weren't white for a while, and neither were Irish, but like they've become white in the United States, more or less. I still don't think shame is good. I think that shame is really unhealthy. It's not a healthy thing, and when people are unhealthy, they do unhealthy things. And so I think it's not good. I think it's not good. JR says, we used to have a place in the Twin Cities called Swede Hollow. It was a ghetto in a valley with no plumbing and a boxcar church. It got burned to the ground in the 1940s. Whew. Were there Swedes living there, JR? Origami says, there's a way to recognize and acknowledge the problems of privilege without making it seem like no one can ever change or learn to utilize their privilege to help others. Yeah, right. And I think that I don't think it ends up like I see it. I see people who are sort of sitting in this shame, and it never works out well. It never works out well, really, for anybody. Volpa says, I will say it as people as a generalization group. People as a generalization group are bad. Most people as individuals are good. Oh, you live in Berlin. Oh, I lived in Augsburg, in Munich, near Munich. I was in Berlin for like 3 weeks to do research. I was doing at a research trip. Maybe it was only 2 weeks. Was it 3 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks. I was in Berlin doing research at the Staatsbibliothek and some Kunstmuseums, sort of like music and art museums. Berlin was cool, but I do love me some Bavaria. Just gonna say it. I think it also included race, but that's the most likely because there wasn't almost any POC outside of Soft disagree. I don't think people should be proud of having German or English, Italian, Spanish heritage either, because where you come from isn't where you're going. The new Irish weren't white for a while, but my ancestor was an Irish slave, and I'm pretty sure he was always white. Well, but in the 1840s, 50s, 60s, Irish weren't particularly white. I mean, there was a lot of discussion of, now, legally they were white, but socially they were not white. Then they became white pretty quickly, socially. Legally, they've always been white in the US, but socially they were not. So, like, there's a tricky thing between, like, legal and then sort of cultural and social. Jay says, noblesse oblige, there's still the wealth divide, but there's no longer a sense of nobility or honor because we pretend there is no expectation of the wealthy. Well, that is fair. Origami says, coming from a church-going family, I spent a lot of time as an adult trying to let go of all the Christian guilt too. Yeah, hey Jay Pasco. Yeah, like these yep, almost entirely Swedes with a connected area of the Valley for Irish. Yeah. Ice Bunny says I'm an honorary buyer, and I am. Psychologically speaking, shame is bad, but guilt is good. I don't know if guilt is good either, Jer. I don't know. And I say this because I've seen a lot of white allies who are full of white guilt, and they're not at all helpful to me at all. Because what ends up happening with people who have a lot of white guilt is that they end up making everything about them, and they make me spend all of my time telling them that they're not a bad person. They're like, oh, I feel so guilty, but I'm not bad, am I? I'm not, oh, I'm the worst, oh, it's the worst. And then I have to spend all of my time and like, I remember when 1700s, he signed the Declaration. It was the first, but there's a clear desire from the source of that. Yeah, hey D Beachy, like I think that guilt is toxic too. Like I remember I was telling somebody that I was being treated badly, and in this instance it was for my sexuality. I was talking to my boss. My boss was like, "You tell me what's going on with you." I was like, "No." Tell me what's going on with you. No. Tell me what's going on with you. No. Tell me what's going on with you. Okay, I'm being mistreated because of my sexuality, and this was a meeting with my boss, and then she starts crying. And then she goes on about how guilty she feels about the fact that like people are treated poorly for their sexuality, and she's like weeping, and I spent the entire hour-long meeting with her making her feel better about how guilty she felt that people were mistreating me. And did anything happen to change how I was being treated? No. You know, so like that was, and I see it like on Twitter. There are all these allies who are clearly racked with guilt about being male or being white or being whatever, and it warps their behavior in ways that are not helpful to them or to me. And so I don't want people to feel guilty. I want them to do better. That's all. You know what I mean? I want people to be like, oh, yeah, I've got privilege right here because of this. And I'm going to, and that is messed up and I don't feel great about it. But you know what? I'm going to try to make the world a better place. I want action rather than guilt or shame. And that's all. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just want people to do better things in the world. And I often find that guilt and shame leads to inaction or backlashy bad action. And I don't, and I also, like, people made me feel bad. Anarch was like, couldn't she do something about it? Yes, she could have, Anarch Dovey. She was my boss. She could have, but she did not. J-Rap says, guilt is just a starting point to motive. It's up to others to not shame them and shape into means to point to someone in the right direction. Yeah, so I just basically worry about, I just worry about damaging people's mental health, right? I worry about the ways in which guilt and shame can damage people's mental health, and people with damage, like, and I don't want anyone to have damaged mental health. I want people to be able to love themselves so they can love other people. And I want people to, yeah, like, I want people to be okay. All people. I want all people to be okay. That's what I want. And Artave says, so there wasn't a reason to exclude them because none of them lived there. They lived here because Finland was seen as backwater third world country at the time. Around 1900, Finland of the day is very different from what it is today. That's very interesting. Yes, Charles Carroll of Carrollton was the only Catholic who signed the Declaration. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. But, you know, also remember, like, Catholics were very mistreated in the United States for a really long time as well, right? I never want you to feel like you have to ease my guilty conscience, but I do want you to call me out if I unthinkingly say or do something that is not okay. Oh, food has been consumed. Speaking of food being consumed, there's this place that has mac and cheese. It's called Big Belly Deli. It's where I live. And they've got mac and cheese with like barbecued pulled pork. And I'm going to order that by the end of my stream. I just want you to know it. Academically, the difference is really important, Sal. Sounds like, I love this stream. Category the outer worlds. Actually strumming on a banjo and chatting about race and equality. And gender and sexuality. That's because there were a bunch of poor Catholics that suddenly showed up. It was poor people that were treated poorly generally. Yes. But remember, Kennedy was a Catholic, and that was a big problem for people, too. They were like, he's a Catholic. Can he be president? Won't he just be a puppet of the Pope? I mean, and he was rich, and people were still iffy about him, you know. And, you know, and there were schools that wouldn't allow Catholics to go there. It was, yeah. Oh, DBG, yeah. Big Belly Deli, so good. Oh, sushi would be good, too. Yeah. Oh, Delicious. We had a deli called Delicious, and that was also really good. But just understand, a person without guilt essentially would be a narcissist. Do you think so? Do you think so? Atomica says, there's a place near here that makes that too. The Cask and Pig. Gotta see if they're doing curbside now. Ooh. Let's talk more banjo. Yeah, so I just think that it's basically, here's what I'm saying. I want to make sure that people are psychologically healthy. And I want to make sure that people are healthy, because Cask and Pig does sound familiar. And I just want to make sure that people are healthy, and that they can do good in the world, and that they themselves can love and feel love, and that they don't slip. Because here's the thing, I was thinking about what you said about that, J-Rab, is that I know a lot of people who have a lot of guilt who are also narcissists, like who are able to turn that guilt into narcissism, and so I worry about that. All right, I'm gonna play the banjo. That's what I'm gonna do. So let me tell you, I'm gonna play the banjo right now. Well, I'm gonna put these on because I'm not gonna play it this second. I'm gonna play it in like 4 seconds. I'm gonna give a what do you call it? A preamble. So I'm not psychologically healthy, but I have future plans and prospects that make me hopeful. Yes, I think that people can have mental illness, and move forward and do good things. Certainly, 100%. But I think that there are some kinds of mental distress, like intense self-hatred, that is not great for people, you know? Like, there's a lot of intense self-hatred that ends up harming people, and then they harm others. There are a lot of sort of like in some ways that's part of what happens with toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. It's these kinds of really harmful ways of thinking about oneself that ends up harming other people as well. And so, like, I want those things to stop happening. You know what I mean? Like, I really want people to not be caught up in a cycle of toxicity that harms themselves and harms others. I want them to break that cycle. That's all. Ooh, Volpez, I want to play more. You know, though, I think I'm gonna bring my Arkham Horror cards with me to Ithaca because you can play that solo. Although I have a lot of them, so I don't know. Maybe I won't. Whatever. As a narcissist myself who has no guilt, I always have a reason for everything. Oh, I just read The Narcissist's Prayer. It was really good. I just watched. Do you know Philosophy Tube? I heard of it because I think Philosophy Tube is friends with ContraPoints, but I never watched any of their videos, Philosophy Tube's videos. And I just ended up watching like 2 or 3 recently, and I watched the one on men and abuse and trauma, and it was really, really good. And he was dating a narcissist who was very abusive to him, but he couldn't see it, partially because of toxic masculinity telling him that everything is fine because as a man, you know, nobody could abuse him and he's fine, and et cetera, et cetera. And like, you know, he was being abused and he had terrible trauma. Ooh, Be Right. Thank you for those bits. Thank you so much. And you're right, I do want to. Yeah, and so Sal, you and I disagree on ContraPoints. I think that ContraPoints is treated quite unfairly, actually. But I think it is fine to disagree. I think it is fine to disagree on that one. I actually think, and I follow some non-binary people who are also supporters of ContraPoints as well, who herself also did identify as non-binary for a while. But yeah. But that said, yeah, I thought this was actually really interesting, and I'm excited to read more of it. That thing you like says, I don't harm others with my own self-hatred. My self-hatred is a lot less than what it was, though, so that might play a part into my absence from hurting others. Yeah, and I also, you know, I don't like seeing other people hating themselves because I want other people to feel okay. Like, and then I want to give them hugs. I want to give them hugs. Have you seen the Tabletop Simulator Arkham Horror mod? It's so good as everything and could load decks. That mod is being taken down, by the way. They're going to... ContraPoints is a YouTuber, a philosophy YouTuber, and there are people who think that she is non-binary, non-binary phobic, and so there's a lot of debate in the non-binary community about whether or not she's non-binary phobic or not. So there's a lot of debate about that. She's a YouTube channel, yes, and she talks about a lot of different things, and she is controversial, not just among non-binary people, but there are people who don't like her for being a woman-identified trans woman, rather than. There are people who think that there is a trend to dislike trans people who you might think of as transsexual, or the term they might use, the term that not these people, but like other people, the critics would use as binary trans people. So there's a lot of dislike for her for being binary trans. So yeah, there's a lot there. I don't understand about non-binary. Oh, non-binary people have been around for millennia, right? The gender binary is a construct, and it's a fiction, right? Like it is a social construct, the gender binary. People don't fall under a binary, although we have crafted them into being a binary, and where that binary is like is going to depend on time and space. But people biologically don't fall into a binary. Yeah, and as long as you can have Jedi hugs, Ice Bunny. For as long as humans have gender roles, more or less, yeah. Many Aboriginal people have recognized 3 or more genders, clearly showing the idea is basically as old as humanity. Definitely. There's a tribe in Siberia that has 5 genders. Like there have been, for a while, ancient Greece thought there was only 1 gender, and that women were basically just men who with a very low core body temperature. So like how we understand gender has shifted and changed over time quite a lot. And there have always been people who don't fit within the gender binary, either socially or also physiologically. sort of, and so I think it's really important when people talk about gender. Gender is not the same thing as sex, but sex is also not a binary. Side note. Gender itself can be many different things. When people say gender, that's actually pretty imprecise of a term. Gender could be your gender identity, sort of like your internal self of your sense of your body. Gender can be gender presentation, how you present to the world. Gender can be gender roles, how society expects you to be, right? And gender roles, gender presentation, and gender identity are all three very, very different things, right? They're all very different. So yeah, Krellin, there are biologically only two genders. Biologists, yeah, people who say that biologically there are only two genders don't know biology is really what that's about. Sal says, I had a 3-hour-long conversation with my dad the other day about how no, there isn't only two genders, and you're talking about physiological sex, which I have proven to you multiple times isn't binary either. Yes, like it's, yeah, but people are really invested in this, and many, I mean, people, yeah. B Right says, we are too keen on categorizing people into boxes, often the binary them and us. Yes. Reality is way more complicated. Yes. Sal, you're a former medic, you're supposed to know medicine and stuff, but I think Levi says, be right, things being less cut and dry than they might seem on the surface seems to be the theme for today's stream. Yes. Also, I think that people, see, I think, okay, this is my theory about non-binary and transphobia, and also biphobia and panphobia. My theory on this, take notes to floor my uncle when pulls the you're a girl card. Well, what does that mean? What does a girl mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? When somebody says you're a girl, what do they mean by that? What do they mean? What does that mean? They need to think about that, right? So one of the things I think about for non-binary phobia, biphobia, transphobia, panphobia, and I haven't thought whether or not this applies to sort of acephobia, but I'm going to think about that. My take is people are people, so why should it be that you and I get along so awfully? That's such a good take. So here it is. I think that the problem is it makes people think about themselves a little bit too much, right? I think that, and I think this was a case for homophobia for a while as well. But the thing is that I think that when somebody says, oh, wait, you're non-binary, but I think you're hot. Wait, does that mean I'm gay? What does that mean? Wait, but I thought that I was, or does that mean that I'm straight? Wait, what, wait. Like, I think that there are people, and it's not their fault, they're just living their lives, that I think that trans people, non-binary people, let's say trans plus people, often cause people who are not trans, who are attracted to them, to have some kind of crisis about their sexuality, which they need to just calm down a little bit. And so I think a lot of that anxiety is that it causes, or either their sexuality or their gender identity themselves, is that sometimes people who live their truth can cause other people to have a panic about who they themselves are, right? Well, like, well, wait, if you can do that, what does that mean about me? And I don't want to think about that, and so I hate you. You're not real. You're freaking me out because I think it causes it, because I think they don't want to think about some things. Acephobia is a little like biracial phobia. It's either not queer enough or not straight enough. Yeah, or also just biphobia as well. Same thing there. And I think that acephobia challenges people not in the same kind of ting about their sexuality, but in terms of, well, no, probably it does, right? Like if somebody says, actually, no, I don't, because we have a lot of compulsory sexuality in our society, right? That our society tells people that they have to feel sexually towards people, and they have to, if they're a man, and if they're a woman, that they have to feel romantically about people. That's what our society says, that, right? Our society's default imagination of men is that they are sexual and aromantic, and of women is that they are romantic and asexual. That's like our default sort of stereotype of men and women. And if you have a man who says, I'm asexual, that's a real challenge to our fantasies of male sexuality. And if you are, let's say, a man person, and you maybe have been putting on sexual desire that you don't feel because you feel like you have to be a real man, and somebody's like, no, I'm an asexual dude, that all of a sudden challenges the way you've lived your life, how you've structured your life, because then maybe your whole life has been a lie, and that can be threatening. The same thing if there's a woman who's like, yeah, no, I'm aromantic, I don't actually care about romance at all, I'm not interested in that, and you've been bought and sold that everything is romance and wedding dresses, and like you've designed your whole life around that, all of a sudden that's a huge challenge. And rather than do the introspection and deal with the challenge, some people will just attack the person who's challenging them, you know? That means he is double moral because women should not get drunk because bad things can happen, but my brother and his sons can get drunk because it's okay as if bad things or maybe bad things can happen. What does that mean, bad things can happen? Does that mean that men might attack them? Then maybe he should start telling his brother and his sons to stop attacking women. A man being romantic is always yeah, that's exact. Oh, a man being a romantic, yeah, yes, that is correct, right? Yes, because men are not supposed to be romantic. Men are supposed to be sexual, but not romantic. So if a man is romantic, that is also a challenge, right? Because men are supposed to not care about romance, but only care about sex. And so if a man says, I care about romance, that's a challenge. Or I don't care about sex, that's a challenge. The same way, if there's a woman who's like, yeah, I just want to have sex with people and I don't care about romance. Both of those things are challenges to the gender norms that we have sort of set up, the gender sexual norms. So that's, and then some people would rather than deal with the challenge, they would rather try to eradicate the challenge. And that's where I think a lot of our phobias and isms come from in those ways, is that it ends up being a challenge. J-Rab says, I'm the romantic in my relationship and my SO is the one who is not colorful, right? And that should be fine, but you know. Atomic says, oh man, I get that all the time. When my close friends find out how long I've gone without a romantic relationship, they act like I'm somehow crippled and freak out when they realize I've had opportunities that I just haven't pursued. I'm firmly aromantic. And the thing is, they start freaking out because because if they themselves were fine, it would not be a challenge. Like your aromanticism would not be a challenge to them. But the fact that they're freaking out means that they've got some stuff going on. And rather than like project that onto you, maybe they should deal with their own stuff. But you know how people can be. It also plays into the tribal mindset, which is also why we like to categorize people, because it dictates what tribe we belong to. Yeah, where we often shit on the other and put down the other tribes or people who are different or fall outside your tribe. Yeah, but you know, the thing is, that thing you don't like, you don't have to do that, and there are people who don't. It's just that there are people who are do, but it's not normal. J-Rab, I don't find it be a challenge. It just comes natural to me. And here's the thing, J-Rab, I think that's the challenge. I think the challenge is that you're like, what? I'm just like being myself. It's not a big deal. And I think that's the challenge. I think that somebody's saying, yeah, I'm doing this thing and it's just who I am and it's fine. I think that can be very challenging when people, and then they're like, no, that's not true. I think they subconsciously believe that aces are judging them for their sexuality as some purity test because they've got like, because they don't feel comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think a good analogy, which is, less fraught, is that there are people who are like, you're a vegetarian? I hate you. Why are you vegetarian? What's and they just get all freaked out about being vegetarian, clearly because they've got some kind of weird guilt going on about their meat eatingness. If you have no problem, then it's no problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, it's one of the reasons I find myself leaning into genderqueer. Also a fear dysmorphia I've had for ages. B. Wright says, if you'll forgive a good traditional English word, they may have general implications. Much of what society thinks is bollocks. Yes. It's like, you know, and it's like coming out of weird spaces. They got to work it out. Also, never mind the bollocks. Ice Penny says, it is more you can get preggy, and they could deny having made the person preggy, and that just shows I share the gene pool with stupid hypocrites. You could also be on birth control. I mean, you know what I mean? And then maybe they could, whatever. My narcissism helps in that case. That's good. All right, so I'm going to play the banjo. Everybody. So last week, I was in a reading of The Tempest, and I was playing Ariel, sort of like an earth tree spirit. And for it, I was asked to sort of turn, because Ariel sings some songs in the play, to turn those lyrics into songs. And I had like a day to do it. I had like a day. 2 days. I didn't have a long time because, you know, how my life was. No, see, I'm right here, right now. And so I turned these tunes, turned these lyrics into tunes, and I didn't have a lot of time to do it, but I was like, let me do something. And I'm gonna play what I played for you, although I've not played it in a week, so I'm probably out of practice for a thing that I put together. But we're gonna play it for you. Yeah, people often grow up without a single tribe, and so growing up with a multi-tribal environment like the internet or school, it often allows people to be more accepting of differences unless they're in a very demeaning or yeah, that's true. That's true. So I do think that Cosmopolitan really helps with that. Yeah, and I had some thoughts about some theorists I was reading, but yeah, now you know why I need a drink every time I have to deal with them, because it's hard dealing with him not tipsy. I just don't look. I am not like you, Ice Bunny. I really believe that if people are toxic, you just don't talk to them anymore. Like, if people are harmful to you, like, this is really where I'm at. I just do not believe that just because somebody is blood related to you that you have to deal with them. Like, if somebody is abusive and terrible and awful to you, I just think you don't need to talk to them. Like, I just don't believe, oh, no, Critch Twitch, lurking is fine. How about a gin and tonic? And I know that I know that there are people who will stay around abusive people because they're related to them, but I just feel like if you are abusive to me, I am not going to hang out with you. Like, I don't care how blood related we are, but as the ancient one said to my little Tikara in Overlight, just because you're blood related doesn't make you family. And yeah. Brandy Longdrink, I've never had that one. I'm 100% that trooper. I was in pure toxicity and pulled the eject line. Yeah, pull it. And again, like, and then sometimes, and you know, sometimes if you pull that eject line and you say, at least this was the case for me, and you say, look, I will not take this behavior. Either you change your behavior or we will not have a relationship anymore. Sometimes they will change the behavior. There are people that I drew a hard line on. Like, my mother was a person that I drew a hard line on. I said, I will not talk to you if you continue doing this behavior. My mom was generally really great until I came out, and then she was not great for a bit, and then we did not talk for 2 years. We had no relationship for 2 years at all, and then she came around and she became wonderful, and she became really, really great because I held very firm boundaries there, which is funny because I often am bad at boundaries. But I held firm boundaries, and she came around, and then we had a really great relationship for the rest of her life. And sometimes they won't come around, but don't have people in your life, you know, who are not okay, that hurt you. That's all, right? Atomic says, out of all my family, I think there's only one cousin I still talk to like once a month. I'm happier living out of my car than I was in that craziness. Because, you know, you have to do what is healthiest for you. Seriously. Levi says, I'm glad she came around. Me too. Then she ended up being really wonderful in the end. Yeah, like, she became really good in the end. But I don't believe, don't have people in your life, my philosophy. Origami Shuriken says, it's not easy to draw that boundary, but sometimes it's necessary. And it's not easy. It is really hard because you love them, right? And they're your family. And you have all these networks. It can be really hard. It can be really hard. But I think that sometimes it's really important so that you can be okay. You know what I mean? All right, I'm going to play these tunes if I remember them. So there were 3 in this, and I wanted to try to get kind of like a slightly different feeling a little bit with them. But this first one, these are all really short as well. So this was the first one. Again, we're talking about like 2 stanzas, 1 stanza, super short. So this is the first one, if I can remember it. Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands, curtsied when you haven't kissed, the wild waves whist, footed feebly here and there, and and sweet sprites, the bird and bear. Hark, hark, the watchdogs bark. Hark, hark, I hear the strain of the strutting chanticleer. Cry cock-a-doodle-doo. So that was the first one. And that one was just basically, it's in G, right? It's a basic kind of clear, like G, that's a 1, 4, 5, 1. So it's a good, right? Doing that twice. So that's a good 1, 4, 5, 1. And then I sort of mix up a little bit, going 5, so a little 5, 1. And then for the hark, hark, the watchdogs bark. Hark, hark, I hear the strains of the strutting chanticleer. Cry cock-a-doodle-doo. So that one there, I go to a B, which, and this is actually a B major, and the B major is not in the key of G. It's a 3 major. It's like a major 3 chord. And a major 3 chord, I actually just love the way the B sounds in the key of G. I feel like, especially because on the banjo, this is not a pure B. It also has this G in it. And the G, B of G is a 5, no, B, F, G, B, C, D, E, F, B, E, F. So it's a 6. It's a 6, but it's not in the key, so it's like a flat, or it's a sharp. Let me think. B is a flat key. Yeah, so you'd have a... Yeah, I think that's a sharp. B, G, G, C, F, B. So in the key of B, you have 2 flats, right? You have your sharps. Yeah, you have a B flat and an E flat. Is that true? Am I lying to you? Am I lying to you in the music theory right now? I don't think I am. F has 1 flat, it's a B, and then B has 2 flats, it's a B, and it's an E. So no, it's in key. But that chord is not in the key of G. It should be a B minor, but I made it a B major, which basically would be a 5 of F. Oh! Reds! Oh! Animo! Then I say the name this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Red strike, red strike, bo bed strike, banana fana, fo fed strike, fee fi mo med strike, red strike. Oh my gosh, I am sorry that I missed the beginning. I don't have my earphones in because I can't play the banjo and sing when I'm listening to the Outer Worlds. So quarantine makes this time blur, but Twitch keeps doing the straight and narrow. Welcome to the full 2 months. Yes. Red Kite. Strike is the first name. Strike Red Kite. Oh. Give me a second. Strike Red Kite, bo bite. Break red stripe, banana, fana, for frike red strike. No. Strike Red Kite. Strike Red Kite, strike Red Kite, strike Red Kite, bo bike red kite, banana, fana, fo fike red kite, fee fi mo mic red kite, strike red kite. Strike red kite, bo bike red kite, banana, fana, fo fike red kite, fee fi fo mic red kite. Strike red kite. Whew. Okay. All right. I got it. I got that one. I got it. Red Knight. Strike red. I got it. I got it there. I got it. It is hard, but I got it. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna work on it. I love it. So yeah, so I wanted to sort of throw in this sort of B major. This would actually be in key, which, oh, that feels very X-Files. That feels like the X-Files theme, right? So I wanted that because it felt a little haunting, and I liked it. Right. I feel like that's the beginning of the X-Files theme song. Anarctivity says, I love the banjo. I would like to own Johiko. It's an old Finnish bowed lyre. It is a stringed instrument with 3 strings and a Finnish way of forming notes, which is back of your fingers, Estonian way. Is the bottom of your fingers. Ooh. 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 Well, that's exciting. Or the Twilight Zone. Yeah, I want to see this instrument. All right, so the second one was, after doing this one, right? Come unto these yellow sands, which is a little bit sort of like lower in my register. The very next song, which is after like a little text, I wanted to do something that was really high in my register, something in my head voice instead, because I thought that'd be a really nice contrast, right? So, come unto these yellow sands, then take hands, curtsied when you haven't kissed, wild waves whist, foot it neatly here and there, and sweet swites the burden bear. Hark, hark, the watchdogs bark, hark, hark, I hear the strain of the strutting chanticleer. Cry cock-a-doodle-doo. And of course I threw in some minor chords because I love some minor chords in there. And so I wanted to throw in like a good contrast, and I don't know if I can sing this because, you know, it is the morning, but I have been talking, so we'll see. Also, I'm sitting down, which means I'm not gonna have the best lung capacity, but there you go. Was I here? No, it was here. All right. My father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Seeming sorry ring his knell. Hark, now I hear them. Ding dong bell. Fun fact, the banjo is the only modern instrument to come from America, and that is a lie. The banjo is not the only modern instrument to come from America. The banjo comes from Africa. The banjo is an African instrument, so that is the story. The story that people have told, kind of propaganda, is that the banjo is the only American instrument, but it is not. Africans brought Africans brought the banjo from Africa, and then it developed while it was in the United States. But it is an African instrument. Or you might be able to say sort of an African, like, because basically the early banjo, I do not have a gourd banjo, and I would like to buy one at one point in time, but I do not currently have one. Yeah, but they're basically rooted in, there are a couple of different instruments that are the precursors of the banjo. The ankonting is one, and then there's another sort of zither. They're these sort of basically African zithers and sort of gourd instruments. You can see sort of ankonting is a pretty good example of what it was. And then basically Africans were kidnapped and stolen from Africa, brought to the United States. They brought their instruments, they sort of remade their instruments in the New World. And how can that be? Something is not, techno is not German. Techno's from the United States. And then So then they would take gourds, and the earliest banjos were these gourd instruments with a gourd in the neck and the chanterelle, the small drum string, which is like what really makes the banjo versus some other instrument. And then it goes from the gourd to using a cheese wheel rim, and that's where you start getting the first sound, and then you start adding the extra string, adding the sound, the resonator, and then of course over time the banjo just gets more and more sort of complex. And of course the banjo also starts fretless. The original banjo has no frets, and 4 strings rather than 5, 3 and then 1 short. And then over time, like they add frets, they add the pearl inlay, they add all the stuff. But yeah, it's actually yeah. There you go. So there's something to it that you don't have to stand up when singing, but you get better lung capacity and better support when you're singing. So if you're going to try to hit really hard notes, like especially high notes, or like if you're trying to hit sort of low notes that are really difficult, you're gonna want to standing up is a little bit better for you, is what I would say. It makes it a little bit easier to hit those notes. I was gonna guess the theremin was made in the U.S., but it's actually Russian. Also, yes. The best old school techno DJs are heavy metal wasn't invented in Scandinavia either, despite appearances. Yes, I see that, Rissa. Yeah. The original DJ, like techno was invented in Detroit by 3 people. The Belleville Three, the three black guys. These 3 black high school students invented techno, and they were Model 500. Juan Atkins. Oh gosh, I teach this. Sorry, it's the end of the semester. My brain's a little bit lost. One instrument that sound. Oh, the shamisen is brilliant sounding. I love it. Juan Atkins. Oh my gosh, why is this my life right now? Why is this the Belleville three kids. Juan Atkins, Derek May, and Kevin Saunderson. Juan Atkins, Derek May, and Kevin Saunderson. They are the Belleville 3. They invented it. So yeah, I'm gonna play the second one again. That far lines of his bones are coral made. Those pearls that were his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer the sea change. Sea nymphs were ringing his bell. Ding dong bell. Yeah. Isn't there also pre-techno's disco, right? So, Delia Derbyshire's music wasn't techno though. It was electronic music. So, right, techno's coming out of disco, and you've got a bunch of things that are moving into it. Like, it's like coming out of, but especially Euro disco, right? So you're thinking about Giorgio Moroder and all of that work. And you've got, the Germans did not perfect techno. I know, being a person who loves German techno, you think it is the best, but stop that. Yeah, sure. Marusha, Dr. Mondo, all that, but like techno is all over. And you can think about like, basically there's like a lot of electro artists like Kraftwerk, right? And Delia Derbyshire, who did amazing electronic stuff. Music Concrete. So like there's a whole tradition of electronic music that's going to influence sort of techno, but techno sort of is coming out of like a mix of house music, disco, and some electro clash, electro. So like there's like a mix of stuff there. Yes. And then the third one, the last one. And so yeah, this one here, right? I really wanted. something in my head voice to sort of contrast with that deeper one. And it's really, this is just a C. This is basically, it's basically in minor, more or less. Although if I wanted to go fully minor, I would have gone. But you know, I was probably kind of a bit of a hybrid minor major mix. What if disco is amazing. It's awesome. I love disco. Disco is awesome. Hey, Say Furious. And then the last one, well, I kind of wanted to kind of like a creepy vibe for this last one. And this one was while you do hear snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy, this time doth take. Go if for life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Away, away. And this one is starts off in G, but we do what we call the mountain minor, and we go to F, which I love. This is that's a move that happens in the song Little Maggie. Will you understand, Little Maggie? With a dram blast. Oh gosh, where do we go from there? From the dram blast. Understand, Little Maggie. With a dram blast. I have no idea. The dram blast in her hand. That's what happens. With a 44 around her. And a with a 44 around her and a no, that's not what happens. You understand, Little Maggie, with a dram glass in her hand. That's what's happening. She's a drinking away sorrow. She's a courting another man. That's how that goes. So like this sort of move from your G to an F, I think it's called the mountain minor, because the F is not a chord in the G key at all. G has an F sharp, so you wouldn't do that. You'd actually go, what you would do if you were like doing it real style, you'd go a little well, you understand, Little Maggie. That's what you do, and it just feels weird. You understand, Little Maggie. Suppose you could do that. That chord's in the key. You understand, Little Maggie. Yeah, no, Little Maggie. No. So it's this weird chord that mountain music will often throw in that is not in the key, and it's just this weird thing. And I love that kind of like, it gives a haunting feeling. And I wanted that haunting feeling in that song. And so, right? While you do hear snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy, this time doth take. And I added in a minor key there to sort of add that kind of creepy feeling. For if life you take a care, shake off slumber and beware. Away. Right, so I wanted that kind of slightly creepy lullaby feeling there, and I thought that mountain minor would give it to you. And those are the 3 songs that I wrote. Ouch. Those are the 3 songs that I wrote for The Tempest. And you can't see me right now. That's fine. I just have to put my banjo away in the case. I always try to take care of my baby. Give me a second. Whoa. And just closing my case. Okay, I'm back. And I've got my headphones on. All right. This is what happens when you schedule all your streams to be RPGs and video games instead of chatting. All right. Where were we? Well, you know what? Here's the problem is that I've been missing my video game streams. When I play video games twice a week, I get enough chat time that it all works out. You have made a decision on camera, by the way. Wait, what was my decision? What did I do? I have never broken a banjo string, no matter how hard I play, because you don't have to break strings. There was a really great conversation once. By the way, we're just gonna start the game so that we know that the game is happening. Have you made a decision on camera? Wait, did I? What decision? What decision did I make? So the Indigo Girls is a group that I love. I grew up listening, I listen to them all the time. And Amy Ray was like kind of the punk rock one, and Emily Saliers was the less punk rock one. And Amy like breaks a string every show, multiple strings every show, and Emily never breaks a string. Like you don't. Oh, I was talking about getting a new camera for streaming. Yes. Oh, have I decided about the? Oh, I see. That thing you like. I got it. I see. Thank you. You weren't talking about have I made a decision on the camera that I'm going to get, rather than have I made a decision like, did I make a decision here on camera? Yeah. No, but I got some really good advice, and I'm going to I feel like I can think about it a little bit. Krellin says, I'm glad you amended that sentence, Trooper, because I was about to say you're too old to have grown up on Ghost. Yeah. Krellin, I cannot eat these jelly beans. What I'm going to say is, I was using grown up there in a different way than most people use grown up. Was that? Oh, I love jelly beans. They're one of my favorites. Oh, who am I taking with me? I'm taking her, and I'm taking him, because they are. No, I'm not taking her right now because we're not talking to religious people. I'm going to take her. Yes. I glowed up listening to Girls. Yes. So, no. What I was going to say is, you're like, I understood, because you're not the only. No, what I mean to say is that for me, I think of myself as having more than one grow up, like more than one phase of growing up. There's like when you're a kid growing up, right? So like there's like the pre-18 grow up. But for me, I also felt like I had a kind of a grow up between 18 and 25, where I was out on my own. I was like having my first apartment. I had a job. It was the Army and then other jobs. And I was going to clubs, and I was learning about who I was as a human being, because I didn't have a sense of who I was. By the way, I can probably fast travel where we're going, but walking is a good excuse to chat with people. So, this is really the walking rather than fast traveling is just a way for me to, wait, I don't want to fast travel. What do I want to do? I have an active quest here. Well, great. Good. That's what I'm doing. I'm going over there. It's just an excuse for me to walk. Let's see. Early 20s is technically an adult, but you're making important decisions for the first time on your own. Right. And it becomes especially me, because I was my brain doesn't understand time anymore. I don't understand time either. I really don't. And like, because I joined the Army, I traveled, I saw the world. Yeah, Rissa, it was the same thing for me too, right? That I was an adult. I didn't think of myself as not an adult. I thought of myself as an adult. But I also was growing. I was growing a lot. I was finding out about my sexuality. I was finding out about what I thought about the world. I was experiencing things. I was becoming me in a way that I couldn't when I was in high school. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So like there's the kind of like the growing up from kid to adult, but there's also kind of an adult growing up. And I would say, yeah, I was learning up with which I would not put. Yes. 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 And also like I was in my first relationships at that moment, right? My first hey, I haven't seen you in a while, Parvati. It's nice to have you here. Yeah, so I was learning like I was in my first relationships. I had my first like I had autonomy. Oh, thank you, Anarch Dovey. Thank you. I forgot that I had muted because yes. Thank you, Anarch Dovey. Thank you very much. Yeah. So for me, it was like 18 to 20, 18 to 25, 24 was I consider it a time of growing up as well. I was still an adult, but it was also still a time of growing up for me. If that makes any sense. Jer says, I had a rule where I wouldn't date anyone 24 or younger because there was too much change going on. Yeah, there's a lot of change between 18 and 24. And again, I'm not removing anybody's adulthood because I was also adult in that time. But here they come. Well, here we go. That wrong button. Also, all the wrong buttons. It's fine. It's fine. I forgot my buttons. Also, I'm yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's good. We're fine. We're fine. It's fine. It's great. It's okay. We're great. Yep. Oh, this is a shotgun. A shotgun, everybody. Yeah, so like I'm not minimizing agency or adulthood. I'm just saying that there's a lot of change and growth that happens in that time. Like a lot of change and growth that happens in those moments. And so like I felt like I had a form of growing up as well. That's all. I had a friend at 29 that married a 20-year-old. Ooh, and it ended badly because she figured some things out over yeah. Also, I should probably shoot this person. Yeah. Hello, Scrap Mechanical. Where are you? Oh, I think they're all dead. I think that person died real fast. Hello. There are a lot of people everywhere, and we're shooting them. Yeah, we are. We're doing great. This is what happens when you don't play for... This is true. When you don't play for a few weeks... By the way, I've learned that for me to have the prime talking time and chatting with you all, I really need to play twice a week. So if I don't play twice a week, I get all backed up, and I don't get to chat with you all enough, and it's distressing to me. Hello. Well, I don't like that they put acid on me. I don't like that. I feel like that's rude. Yeah. I also broke that rule and it did not end well. No one who has ever said it's fine, everything is fine has ever been fine. That's probably also true. My food is... Oh, I'm going to order the Big Belly Deli, by the way. This is what I'm going to do. I got married in my early 20s, and it lasted 7 years before I figured out some things. So I feel like I'm still growing up in my mind, in my mid to late 20s in a lot of ways, mid to late 30s in a lot of ways. Yeah, the recoil is insane in this pistol. Watch it out for the acid pits on the ground too. Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I should watch out for that. To be fair, I enjoy the banter and learning here. Me too. I'll be 50 tomorrow and I still don't feel fully grown up, even though I'm well. Yeah, and I think this is actually, for me, this I think is really interesting. That I feel like I'm in a continual growth process in many ways. You know, when I was 20, so this, you know, it's really, it's interesting. I've thoughts about age. I was engaged when I was 20 and she was 21. A year of living together later, I left. Very happy that we hadn't gotten married. Oh, yeah. People are young. I live in the boonies, so I can't order food from any fast food joints. Oh, no, Anarch Dubby. Oh, I'm sorry.
Huh? I smell blood! Incoming, Captain!
Yeah, they want to shoot me. There are people everywhere. Okay. Yeah, It's cool, it's cool, it's cool. Yeah, I'm fine. Also, what's the button that I use to reload? Yes, okay. Also, wait. Yes, birthday. Birthday. Oh, I have to tell you all things. I think we should always be growing, to be honest. It's when we stop that things get problematic. Yeah, I agree with you. We've only one restaurant and it's Mom's and Pop's place. Oh. At least I'm doing better than I dealt with 40, and 40 did not go well. Yeah, so this is really interesting. So, I had this really interesting experience for me, and it's about age and dating. I went to college at 25. I was 25 when I went to college as an undergraduate because I was in the Army first, you know? And I was dating. Constant growth is called cancer. Oh, you turn 41 next week, Barantor? Oh, happy birthday. Everybody has to tell me when their birthdays are happening so that I can give everybody, sing happy birthday songs for people. That's important to me because I really like that. So I was 25 and I went to college. And when I was in college, I dated people who were also in college. And so that means I was like 25 dating like 19-year-olds, I suppose. They were like 6 years difference, which was the same difference as my parents. So I didn't really think of that much of a big deal. But it's interesting to me because at one point in time, I don't know, I must have been like 27, 28 at that point in time. And there was a person who was not in college and they were 29, maybe 30. So they were really not that much older to me than me at all. We were very close in age, but it felt really like, and they wanted to date me, but I was like, ooh, this person would be problematic for me to date. And why is that? This person owned a house, was running for city council, was a lawyer, had their entire life all figured out. Like, they were settled in their life. They were settled. The power dynamic between us was off, in that, like, I had no money because I was a college student. And also I had to like do finals and, the pace of my life was an undergraduate's pace of my life, basically. And they were a person whose pace of their life was in a very different space than mine. And so like, that was like, even though that we were very close in age, that was not great. That was not great. Whereas somebody who was like, maybe like, but now I also dated people who were my age when I was in college or older, but who were also college students, because we had a lot of people who were not traditional age there. And that also was pretty great. But I was thinking about, the ways in which life circumstance also has an impact about where you're at, which, by the way, goes back to what you were saying, Origami Shuriken, about how you were feeling like even though you're in your 30s, you're kind of in a growth space right now. And I think age in addition to where you are in your growth space is what is this? I pulled a button, everybody, is important, right? Like, are you going through like a big growth space at this moment? Then, you know, does that make any sense? Anyway, I'm just saying that I think that life position is also often quite important. And I'm going to sell all of this junk. Also, I am apparently, this is probably going to shock you, but I am over my limit. I'm over my limit. My birthday happens at midnight on New Year's Day because I can't be bothered with birthdays. Yeah. When I was 30, I went to college. There was no dating. That was not... why? What even is this game? Why are games? Yeah, I was like, what's going on? So I just think it was actually really interesting to think about the economics, right? Of, I'm going to sell this. The economics of a person's life, in that 18 to 22-year-olds often do not have the same economic power as people who are older. And that's where a lot of, and then also people who are younger are often going through really major important growth spaces. But you can go through, like, I went through a huge growth space between 25 and 29 when I was an undergraduate. That, like, changed my life. Like, it really did. Like, I was, it was, yeah. That was, name, here we go. It was a big change for me. It was a really big change for me. Assault rifle. Okay, let's sell that. Look, I just need to sell enough things that... Grenade launcher. I just need to sell enough things that I'm no longer encumbered. That is really all I need to do. Just enough that I'm not encumbered. That is really all I'm asking for. I can sell that one too. Yeah, so I don't know. I think about it a lot. I think about the ways in which... Also, I think one of the reasons why I think about this as well is because we're going to sell this tactical shotgun. I hope that was a good idea, but we just did it. And Trip Blade Mark II, it's 214. Yeah, Jez's plan to become a happy plant by being cucumbered is brave, but perhaps not the way to go. If you haven't used in the past 5 minutes, sell it. Well, but what if I need it? What if I need it? Because that could happen. Like, I could, you know, I could end up needing it. Look, there's a bunch of these things that I clearly don't need, right? So I can sell that. Boom. And then there are 2 of these, and I don't need 2 of those. So I can sell 1 of those. And look, I just sold all sorts of things. Like, I just sold all the things. You haven't used, you cleared up. But what if my friends need it? All right, so wait, I'm here. Don't we have a, oh, we're not, where am I? Wait, where am I? All right, I have to go this way. Maybe I'm having hoarder problems. Trooper, you're carrying 200 kilograms of crap. Seriously, 200 kilos. That's true. That's true. I think as someone who teaches at that age range, you see the dynamics play out. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, yes. I have 2 entire people in my backpack. That's true. I do. Also, look, I'm trying to figure out how to get to this quest spot. Okay, I think I've got to go back up here and then take a left, I think. So look, what I want to tell you, there was a thing, right? So I was thinking about this. I was thinking about one of the ways in which I really noticed this play out was when I was a graduate student, because being a graduate student is weird in that graduate students are students, but they're often older than... You get there by selling all your stuff, then you can fly there. Maybe. So although I think it's probably kilograms. Although I don't know. They don't tell us. It's sci-fi. So hello. So you think it's kilograms. Hello. Hi.
Excuse me, but this area's off limits. We got a leaky generator. It ain't safe.
I can fix it.
That's my nice way of telling you to sod off.
I need to get inside.
And I'm just gonna let you walk on in? Why's that now?
You're here for Carlotta? I get it. I'll offer, you get paid, we'll all go home with a win. Wait. I'll just lie.
Oh, of all the void damned. I ain't getting eaten alive for a couple of bits. Pack it up, crew.
Oh, nice. They're all gonna leave. Also, what am I doing here? I don't even know what my quest is. I should figure the commuter. All right, we're gonna figure out what we're doing. Here we go. Let's see. Having companion increases your carrying height, so they're obviously carrying stuff. Yeah, they're carrying stuff, right? The atmosphere is different from Earth, so I think Jess is carrying and practicing like 40 to 50 kilos. Maybe, yeah. Companions just give you pep talks and pointers on your posture, probably. Look, the interface says 200, and that's 200 kilos. You can't argue with numbers. So one of the things I was thinking about, like, because like this I thought was really fascinating being a grad student, really weird, because grad students are students, right? With all that entails, and that which, for example, means, by the way, I have not done my wrist exercises, and so I'm going to do them right now while I'm being distracted. So as a grad student, right, I was making $17,000 a year. I had no idea where I was going to be in the world after I finished my degree. I was still a student, so I was, having to grade and having to stay up late and study and do finals, and so I was very much like that. But I was also 30, and it's really weird when your peers are the people who are like theoretically within your dating pool are people who have apartments and jobs and are settled down and plan on staying in the same place where they're going to be probably for the rest of their lives. And I didn't know where I was going to be. I didn't have a job yet, and I didn't know where I was going to live once I got out of grad school, and I was making $17,000 a year. So like being a grad student's really weird because you're way older than most students. Like basically you're in an age where most people have retirement and jobs and they've got all that stuff going on, but I really did not have that, and none of my peers really had that stuff going on either. So it was really weird. And I was driving down to San Diego once a month. It was very weird being a graduate student in terms of age experience, because I had like the life experience of a 30-year-old, but I also had the instability of a college student, and that was very odd. That made things a little complicated. But so like I always think that like it's that kind of interesting mix of life position, like where you are in your life, as well as your age. It's both of those things. Trooper, you didn't know any 30-year-olds with retirements. No, I knew 30-year-olds who had been paying into the retirement funds. Like, I knew they had like union jobs where they had like money going into their pension, or they because I knew a lot of people who had been working since they were 18, right? And so they were, they'd had like 12 years of paying into their, whatever their, retirement system was. And I had paid zero money into my retirement system. I did not start paying into my retirement system until I was let me think. Some of them were 401k, some of them were pensions, because I'm a working class space. I knew a bunch of people who were Well, you know, they were, yeah, they had union jobs with pensions. Um, one, two. Hold on, I have to. I'm losing my count because I'm trying to do math in my head, and I cannot do math. I can talk and do my exercises, but I cannot do math in my head and do those exercises because that's too many numbers. Um, where did you know people with union jobs? Well, I grew up. My dad was a union guy. I grew up in San Francisco, and so I knew people who were union people in San Francisco. Um, then I was in the army, and a lot of those people who I knew in the army got out of the army and doing union people. I had when I had friends who were union folks in Los Angeles as well. One of my friends actually, well, one of the people I knew from grad school actually graduated grad school, and then got a union job as a pipe fitter. Um, no, but what I'm saying is I knew people in their 30s who had union jobs. Uh, I knew a couple of where oh um right now at this very moment one of my former grad student colleagues has a union job. He's doing pipe fitting work, I think. um or yeah, I think he's doing pipe fitting work. um yeah. uh and also I think there's sex workers, like strippers in San Francisco, are unionized as well. uh wait, well, but I'm, I'm saying that the reason why I pointed out my dad is because what I'm saying is that I grew up in union spaces, right? I grew up with people who had union jobs, and often their kids then also ended up having union jobs because I grew up with a bunch of working class people who stayed working class, and so kind of ended up staying in that space. So like it's kind of a generational thing. If I'd grown up with like middle class people, I probably wouldn't know people who had union jobs. Um, but and wait, also, um, grad students were unionized. Our grad students unionized, and we became a part of the grad student union. So there's that as well. Um, and teachers are unionized, and I know lots of those. Yeah, it's true. Like I know lots of teachers, and they're unionized. Yeah, actually, I know a lot of union people actually. So yeah. Mhm. Um, Oh, I don't know why I started this exercise. 'Cause I wanted to do math. I started grad school at 29. It I got my first job at my first academic job in 2008. So I was 36. I was 36 when I got my first job. Well, that's now. Please note, asterisk, 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 right? I had other jobs, but they didn't count because I had jobs in Germany, but German retirement does not carry over to U.S. retirement. I was in the army, which doesn't get you retirement unless you stay in for 20, right? I did some other, so like the things I did from 18 to 36 were not helping me with my retirement. So I didn't actually start putting money in my retirement until I was 36. Yeah, right. So I was in a very different position than a lot of my peers, and it was weird. Weird, that's all. Yeah, my first teaching job was in 2008. And yeah, it's just interesting to sort of think about. And like I remember I was in the army with people who got married and had kids at 18. And those people who got married and had kids at 18 were in a way different life position than my students who are 18 and going to college, who, yeah, like I'm just saying that age and life position together, I think, are quite important in terms of figuring out, um, thinking about people. I think I did that one. Yes, I know it's when I abandoned you, and I'm so sorry. It is, and I had no idea where my job was gonna go. So what is this? The iconoclasts are due to receive a shipment of vital supplies from Carlotta, a sympathizer that resides in Cellar Bay. The meeting is set to occur at the Bayside Terrace warehouse. Optional: get high capacity cartridges or extra supplies from Carlotta. Graham wants to tack on some high-capacity cartridges to his order, but Zora would prefer if they could get extra food and medical supplies. Get the printing press rollers from Carlotta. Travel to the warehouse at Bayside Terrace and find Graham's contact, Carlotta. She should have a shipment for him. Retrieve it. So I'm supposed to get print rollers, and then I'm supposed to get either food or high capacity cartridges. All right. By the way, I'm just doing my last, this one here. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, pace is personal. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Done. That thing you like says, I mean, pace is personal. You can quote me on that. Life isn't a race. It's important for relationships and finding someone with similar pace. Yes, I think that's actually true. Pace is personal and growth is personal. And there are many reasons why a person's growth would be different, right? And sort of shift. Sometimes trauma changes what your pace is like. I mean, yeah, or just, I don't know, class status, all sorts of things. More like person has to eat, which means you got to have a job, and Trooper likes his donuts. I do like my donuts. I do. I really do. Yeah, so I'm supposed to get some stuff here. Hello. Are you all leaving? They are. They're all leaving, everybody. Which, sweet. That's awesome. I feel super cool. If you do quote me, please use APA. Do I, that thing you like, do I have to use APA? Can't I just use Chicago? Come on. Let me use Chicago. Be nice. I mean, if I have to use APA, I will. But like, come on. I'm in the humanities. Throw me a bone. If you want, I'll use MLA if you want. No, I mean, I can do that. I'm really lucky that Stacy and I have similar paces, even though ours is a platonic roommate ship. I see lots of roommates that are not a good fit, and it's a way too much stress. Oh, you had it coming. No Chicago. Krellin! Krellin! Welcome back, Sal. Krellin. First off, love. That's all I want to say. APA only. Sulfur safe power generation system. Warning, unauthorized access to this equipment may result in injury, death, or unemployment. Ooh, let's continue. Reactor status unstable. Corrosive gas levels critical. Gas vents closed. Recommendation open. Wait. I need a hack of 55 and I don't have it. Yeah, we're gonna need to fix this, everybody. We're going to need to fix this because this seems like a real problem. Like a bad problem. And I'm gonna need to get my hack bonuses up. I have hack people. And they're not currently with me, but I think I might need to get them because I don't... This seems like a bad situation, right? I mean, right? Yes? Chicago's for people that acknowledge the truth, Trooper. People that know they both reached for the they both reached for the gun, they both reach for the gun. Yes. Or find, oh, is there, or find the passcode. Oh. I don't think there is a passcode. Look, my hacking's pretty good, I think, right? I think, what is my hacking? My hacking is currently 50, right? Look, I just need to get a bonus and then I'll get there, right? I just need to bring a friend. I just need to bring a friend that'll bump me over the 50 and then we'll be fine. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna do that right now. We're going to fast travel back to the ship, and I'm gonna trade out Parvati for a hacker. That's it. That's all we're gonna do. It's gonna be fine. We're not gonna have a problem. It'll be fine. Hacking buddies. Yeah, I feel like we need the Vicar Max. I had him before. We're gonna bring him back. This isn't a game of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You can't phone a friend, but I should be able to phone a friend. People, by the way, I'm totally gonna have mac and cheese today. I want you to know it. Like, I'm very excited for this. And you definitely can't phone your parents to brag that you're going to win. Y'all, can I tell you something? I'm so excited to look. I have to tell you all something. Oh, in case I think that my calendar is wrong, my little calendar image, but tomorrow I don't have a stream. There is no Seraphim Station tomorrow.
I believe I hear Felix and Parvati discussing the latest Aetherwave serial.
Really? What are they talking about? I want to hear them. Before we go back out again. Although seriously, that was probably the most live TV swagger ever. Yeah. Agreed. Okay, what are you talking about?
Felix, your apps are surely not going to believe this. You remember that spin-off series about the mass marketeer? Halcyon Helen's coming on for a special romance arc? Ah! What if they hold hands?
That's the episode with Ruth Bellamy, right? Been meaning to catch that.
Oh, hi. I would talk to you all.
Stretching your legs, boss?
Yeah, I am. I'm just stretching my legs. How are you?
Good to see you, boss.
Yeah, we gotta go. I've got to take my hacker friend with me. That's all. I was gonna tell you all something. Oh, yeah. So we did Seraphim Station, the Capers Offworld RPG that I'm in. That is... Parvati gotta go. Vicar Max is the one that gives me hacking, right? Right? Yes. Vicar Max is our hacker. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, I'll be sad. But I'm going to tell you about what's going on next week, everyone. Next week is so after this stream today, I'm just going to be grading until Monday at 9 a.m. And grade. It'll be awesome. It's just all the grading. And then all of my grades will be done by Monday morning. And then I have to do a lot of email and making videos for students and because basically because people can't do an in-person graduation, I'm getting requests to make personal videos for each of my students who's graduating to like tell them what they mean to me and to give them graduation advice and because that is the thing now. I just want to fast travel. Fast travel. Dang it! I'll just have to fast travel here. Well, it's just for my graduating seniors. Right, and that's the thing. Then I have to house hunt. It's just for my graduating seniors. So I've just got my graduating seniors, and I need to make videos for each one of them, like talking to them about giving them some personal feelings. My seniors, and I've got to do that. And I've got to do that. Like, I probably should be doing that this weekend, to be honest. But I might be able to do it on Monday. Anyway, then what I need to do, like number one thing, is get an apartment in Ithaca so that I can move there, so that I will have a place to live. That is like the number one thing that I have to do right away is that, and I will do that. I will do it. I will not do it today, and I will not do it tomorrow. But I'm thinking Monday morning I sleep in, because I'm probably going to be staying up really late. I mean, you could be a homeless professor on the sabbatical if you really wanted. It'd be an experience. It would, but somehow I suspect I wouldn't get a lot of writing done if I did that. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just have to find an apartment, and I hope that finding an apartment won't be too difficult. My feelings are that probably a lot of people will not be getting apartments because of the coronavirus, which means it might be easier to get an apartment. But on the other hand, hack. Okay. It would probably be a bad experience. Apartment, not house? No, I mean, just an apartment. I'm just going to be there for a year. Is the game worth the money? Hey, Lube McGG. It's enjoyable to play. It looks a little bland so far, but I just found out it was even made 5 minutes ago. Oh, I like it. I find the characterization really good. It's an Obsidian game, not a BioWare game, which means I don't think your character is going to have any romance, but if you like romance. But the story's interesting. There's some really cool hard choices, which I always like. It's got customization. It's I think of it as like a kind of a little Fallouty in space, if you like it. I've gotten 3 months out of. Let's see. Let's vent the gas. Thanks. And then I think I might have fixed our problem. Great, and then I'm going to close the vents. Great. Also, Loeb McGG, how are you? Where are you at? What kind of games do you like? What are your favorite games? Give me some words. Also, that's locked. So I think I have to go back and open that up. So it's fine. It's fine. Well, you know what? I was thinking. I actually think that might be about this space. And it is not. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, Lo, what kind of games do you like? What are your faves? And then that might help me. Oh, wait. I died. I died, everybody. There was death. That I just died. I want you to know it, that there was like me dying right there. It's pretty epic. Probably Skyrim or some VR games. I liked all the Fallouts. Oh, yeah, it's a bit more story driven than Fallout. I mean, Fallout is pretty open world, so there's not really a plot other than what you make of it. So it's a bit more plot driven. You know, here's the thing. I think if you liked New Vegas, because New Vegas was also made by the same people. I know this is what happens when you go outside and there's gas venting. Did Nightbot not work for me? I think it's probably a bit more like Fallout New Vegas is what I'm going to assume. Nightbot, are you not around? Yeah? So, more death. More death. There we go. So yeah, I think that if you like Fallout New Vegas, did I add 2? I thought the first one didn't work. Well, I'll just note that I have a free death, is what I'll note. That's what I'll do. I'll note up a free death. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go here. Let your bot. Oh, you already did. Jer, I'm gonna just have to jump off something. Thank you, Jer, for being on top of things. Thank you. Yeah, so if you liked Fallout New Vegas, this is by the same company that did New Vegas, so you might like this then. Yeah, that's what I would say. Although I've not played New Vegas, but I've played other games by Obsidian. So that would be my closest guess. If somebody's played New Vegas here and has played also the Outer Worlds, how comparable do you think it is? Will be my question. Because I feel like feel like it should be comparable. I know. I'm not... You know, hey, Jer, when you're here, you're here. When you're here, you're family. You know, yeah. Complete with must carry all the things I can't sell. They're pretty... Yeah, so I think, Leo, I think if you liked New Vegas, I think that this would probably be a good game for you. You know what I think? I think that gas venting is just a trap, is what I think. I think it's there to allow you to murder everybody outside without having to talk to them. Yeah, New Vegas is a good narrative comparison. It was more open world. Yeah. So here's the question. Oh, here, let's...
It's too quiet. What are you up to out there? Hello?
Carlotta, is that you?
Yeah, and for the 100th time, I'm not opening this door. Who are you, anyway?
I'm Jessica Carmichael. Graham sent me to collect supplies.
Oh, finally. Tell Graham that this is the last run I'm doing. Sanjar's declared a stop sale to you lot, but even if he hadn't, I'm not risking my neck anymore.
Oh, all right. Well. Hello, lady with a big gun. How are you?
I don't know how you got those goons to leave, but thank you.
Welcome.
Graham ordered rollers and whatsits, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a printing press?
Mm-hmm.
Here, take them.
Oh, thanks.
Like I said, this is my last run.
Why did Sanjar ban you from working with the Iconoclasts?
You'd have to ask him. All I know is that if I get caught, I'll get arrested.
Where will they get their supplies now?
Law help them. I don't know. Maybe Sublight can lend a hand.
Hmm.
I should go.
Wait.
Look, Graham's got a bit or two left in his account. I can send one last dropout before I wash my hands of this.
Okay.
What do you want delivered?
Yeah, Zora suggested extra food and medicine, which is what I'm going for, rather than the high-capacity data cartridges. I feel like they need
I always took
food.
that woman for the sensible type.
Yeah.
Good on her. I'll send some along. Give them all my regards. And good luck out there. Don't go getting eaten.
Well, thanks. Yeah, personally, like I thought that Morrowind was a better open world game than Fallout 3. I mean, I enjoyed Fallout 3 because the music was amazing, so good. But for me personally, I enjoyed Morrowind as an open world game a little bit better. Mainly because I think I had more driving motivation as a character. There was a bit more of a mystery and a bit more sort of world tension that I thought was really interesting. There was a lot more going on in the world, so that made the world feel more alive and full of tension, and that drove me. And like there was a lot of things there are just a lot harder choices for me in Morrowind than in Skyrim or in Fallout 3. I haven't played New Vegas yet, though. I haven't played New Vegas. So I want my open world. So here's my thought about open worlds, and my thought about open worlds heavily impact how I feel about sandbox RPGs, tabletop RPGs, in case one wanted to know what I was talking about. Is that some people's idea of an open world is to create this really cool environment, right? Like create really cool locations, and then you just sort of make these really cool places, and then you just leave the players. You're like, okay, ooh, somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Amuse Cart 127, thank you for the follow. Welcome in to hanging out with us and all of that. 3 blessings, Sarah. What was that one they'd always say? There was the insult they would do all the time. What was it? It was what was it they would always call you? This was the big insult that the Dunmer would always call you. Come on. It was you. This song was playing in the shop earlier. Oh, really? Let's see. That makes me happy. Swit. But there was another one too, right? Wasn't there another one? That they would... it was sort of like a... I feel like there was one more, and now I'm forgetting what it was, and that makes me feel sad. Because I feel like I should remember these things all the time. Inwa! Thank you, Neff. That was it. Inwa. It was Inwa. Thank you. It was Inwa. I appreciate this very much. That was the one. That was the one. Inwa. I was called that so many times, but I was playing a Dunmer, so I had very conflicted feelings. Anyway, there were so many things I really loved about Morrowind. Specifically, that you couldn't do and have everything. That there were, like, the factions, like the different Dunmer houses. You could not join all of them, and they were not, because they were not friends with each other. And that was not going to work out well for you. And so you couldn't just be in charge of all of them. And I also liked that you could join all of the guilds, but the Fighters Guild and the Mages Guild were not friends with each other, and you could not be in charge of both the Fighters Guild and the Mages Guild. You had to make choices about which ones you wanted to invest your time in, because you couldn't do everything. Same thing with like the two different churches. I really enjoyed that there were factions that did not get along well, and you had to make choices about what it was that you were going to do. Like, were you going to... Ooh. Excuse me for a moment. Yeah, you had to make choices about where you were going to put your energy. I like that. And the world itself was very dynamic with a lot of interesting politics, and that drove me on to find out more about about the political system there. I found, yeah, it was very... I was a big fan. Wasn't there a vending machine around here? Or was there not? Did I make that up? I probably made it up. My vast knowledge of Dunmer insults come in handy. Yes, they do. Are enemies few and far between? Oh, so I gotta play new... Because I played 3, and I have New Vegas for the 360. I just haven't played it yet. And I really think that I should. Because I would love it. And also, I want to jump up here, but I don't think I can because, well, give me a second. I'm 2 pounds over. Yeah. I feel like I can probably dump something like some of these. I probably don't need all of those, and I will break down. Somebody's in the hallway. Who's in the hallway? It's a little... Sorry. I live in a dorm right now, and they're stones. That makes sense. I'm being weighed down by stones. Here we go. Have you heard of an artist called Cave Town? I haven't. If there's an artist I need to know about, will you put it in Discord? Because I want to know about new artists or old artists, new to me artists. I'm very much excited by them. Let's fast travel to Amber Heights. I remember joining both fighters and mages, and there's a mission you have to steal something and completely piss off the mages. I love that. Yes, he did mean stones, which is like, each stone is like a... Isn't each stone... I thought a stone was 7 pounds. No? Oh, are they 14 pounds? I always thought that stones were so weird. I was like, okay. That's a unit of measurement, but it's fine. I want to know more about Cave Town. Yeah, you do need to know about Cave Town. A lot of their songs are about mental illness and internal struggle. Ooh, yeah.
Incoming. What was that?
Oh no. No! Wait! I need to get out of here. Get out! Get out! Get out! So... Okay. So as it turns out, okay, look, okay, Kieran, this is what happened. It was a misunderstanding, is what happened. I was just, look, okay, what happened was, I was just like, it was not even like a big deal, I was just stealing some things from them a little bit, and it was, so, what happened was I just quick traveled inside of Amber Heights, and the people of Amber Heights are a little mad at me right now for no reason. Okay, so the reason was that I was on a roof and I stole some stuff from them. I didn't think they could see me because I was on a roof, and then they got really mad and they all tried to kill me, and then Nyoka and Vicar Max started shooting back, and we are kind of... I stole their cinnamon rolls, and I have done a mission for them. I've got food for them, and I would like to give them the food, but kind of turns out that it says that they're neutral, but they're kind of wanting to murder me at the moment. Yeah. Well, then camp out for like a week. Is that what we do? We camp out for a week? Is that what we do? Well, I can't camp out here. If I caught you trying to steal my cinnamon rolls, you'd be fair game too. So their reaction seems like, yeah, it is fair. I'm not going to run over too long, but I started a little late because I was running around doing stuff. So I imagine that I will go, like, here, you know what I'll do? I have an idea. Also, all I want is a bed. If I had a bed that I could sleep, that's how video games work. This is what we're going to do, everybody. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the Cave Town and Media Musings. Where's my phone? I have started at noon. I totally have done it. It has happened before. It has. But when is a good question. But I have done it. I only pissed off one whole planet that badly, and I wasn't interested in fixing it. Mm-hmm. I'm on trooper time, but I started at noon once. I did, and I start my RPGs on time. I will note that one. My RPGs start on time. So there's that. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Devil's Peak. Mm-hmm. I start my RPGs on time, and my Thursday streams have been pretty close to on time recently. Now that school is no longer in session, my streams have been pretty good on that one. Okay. Here we go, everybody. We have got a mission that we can do over here. What is this? That's Scylla. Where is this? Oh, that's kind of far away. Return to Agnes Needham in Stellar Bay. Oh. I should have done that while I was in Stellar Bay, but I wasn't paying attention because I'm the worst. That's fine. Scylla, I don't need to worry about. Take the passcode you found on the sublight agent's body to Catherine in Fallbrook. Fallbrook. Oh, so I've got some things up there which I can do. Some kind of turn-in things. You know what? I've got a lot of things to do in Stellar Bay. Oh no, I've got a thing down there too. Look, I feel like we do this one. I feel like this one is the closest-ish? Yeah. I'm actually going to put in, within a reasonable approximation of on time. Like, they're only 5 minutes late. Sometimes I'm straight on. I usually try to start, but sometimes the players aren't ready. So then I have to just, I have to wait for them to get ready. But we usually start the broadcast, at least.
Off the road and down this slope. We've got a decent trek ahead of us.
Okay. Where do you... We don't need to go that way, do we? No, we can go this way. Yeah, now that I don't have to travel from classroom to home first and have students chatting with me, I'm actually... My Thursdays are actually much better. I'm usually getting there at least within 15. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. My Saturdays are still a little bit of an if, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh.
This is new. Way the edges are burnt. I guess people did this, not the wilds.
Oh. Well. And there's a person there, Weston Sloan. Okay. Well, we've just learned a new thing. We're going to have to go around, apparently. Yeah. You're back! But it's live TV, it's expected. Yeah, it's fine. But although I'm feeling pretty good about that. Gang, we have 6 episodes of City of Light and Shadows left. Just 6. Also, I'm encumbered. Can this get me where I want to go? I want to go this way. Basically. Yes. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So we only have 6 episodes of City of Light and Shadow left, everyone. Depending, I might be able to stretch it to 7, depending on whether the cast is available and if they're up for it, and if my move everything's good for my move, because that's I set it up so that we would get, basically the last episode is supposed to be June the 19th, and everything is coming up roses. Sorry, don't mind me. I am sometimes a goofball. I'm gonna break this down. And then also this one. Boom. All right. Yeah, so there is theoretically one more Friday before I'm in my new apartment, but I don't know what my life will be like on that Friday. I don't know if I will be what level of packed up I'll be. That'll be what, the 26th? So it's possible, depending. It's possible, depending, that we might be able to... Why am I here? Why am I even here right now? Who knows? But we should probably kill some things. Kill the things. See, I'm using a pistol because this pistol is it's just got so much. Speaking of pistol, I really need to repair things. It's just got so much damage. This pistol I've like beefed up like nobody's business, and it's like all the damage all the time, and I love it. I just want you to know it. I'm just saying. Also, do you hear that sound? It sounds bad. It sounds bad. Do you hear it? Do you see like a dragon? Look, I'm just saying it sounds like there's a dragon waiting for me somewhere. Do you hear that? I just am concerned. Maybe there's some kind of giant monster. Like Gojira. Or maybe not. Maybe it's fine. And maybe it's just like nothing and I'm being worried for no reason. Because, I mean, that is also a possibility. That, like, everything is like, oh, look, it's pleasant. A Mega Raptidon. See, I was telling you that I didn't feel like everything was fine. Hey, Soy Furious. Be careful. Apart with the dragon. Oh. Yeah. I do. Hi, Soy. I'm actually really enjoying the game, but I also do enjoy. We're going after Mega Raptidons right now.
May the law have mercy on you. I won't.
Oh. Hey, Vicar Max.
Everyone all right?
Yes, we are. Also, Vicar Max is sort of badass. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. You go, Vicar Max. You go be badass. You do that. Like my favorite part of Portal 2, the part where he kills you. Are there any more? I think we're good, right? Are there more of these things? Or, by the way, these look like giant Venus flytraps. And I thought I should tell you. He's a vicar. Now, I do have some questions about the difference between a vicar and a priest, because I'm not 100% certain on those differences, as I did not grow up particularly religious. I know that there are differences between vicars and priests, but I don't actually know what they are. This is probably the part where he kills us. Chapter 9, the part where he kills you. This is the last where I'm gonna kill you achievement get. Oh, Portal's such a good game, everyone. Side note, in case anybody wants to know, it's really good. Ignore the typos. I ignore them because I care. So seriously though, I thought there was. Whoop. See, I don't need this. I don't need this. Vicars are representatives. That's what I wanted to know. Oh, I get so many typos on my phone too. It gets very frustrating. Vicars are representatives of bishops in the Catholic Church. Can you, Levi, can you say more about that? Can you tell me more about what that means? Do you mean as if, when you say representatives, do you mean that literally? Like they are, like they go out into the world and speak for vicars? Like, is that what you mean? Like, do you mean that? I assume you mean this literally, right? Like they are the bishops can only really diagonally, so vicars carry messages that require them to move along the X and the Y. Yes, that is right. I feel like that is care. So they act like they're the bishop, yes. Right, because bishops would have larger dioceses that they control, right? So they can't be everywhere. So would there be we know vicars from Anglican mostly, though, where the vicar is a title given to the priest of a parish. Look, I keep hearing this creepy sound, everyone. It's freaking me out. It's freaking me out. Okay, there's a creepy sound. I don't know what it is. Mantipillars. Let's kill them. Oh. They move fast. We killed some things. This is what we do in life. We go off to new places in the world, we see new things, and then we kill those things. Which I think is fair, to be honest. So they're different. So in the Anglican Church, they're just the priest of a parish. Oh. So, I have a question then. If you're the priest of a parish, you're a vicar. So then what are priests? Is a priest somebody who doesn't have a church they belong to? Or what? I feel like there are details there that I need. Look, are you hearing that? Ooh. Okay, I think we're good. And yeah, and what about pastors, right? So you've got pastors, priests, vicars, and I feel like there are probably technical differences, and I don't... They're just Italian priests, right? And I feel like... Oh, what is... Wait, what is that? There's some dead bodies here, everybody. Oh, this person was not killed by a manticore, though. This person was killed by a human being. Okay. What do you think happened here? Probably bad. Yeah, religions divide up duties differently, so they're always exact analogs. Yeah. The joke only really works in an accent that doesn't emphasize pastor. Pastor. Yeah, right? Pasto. So, I imagine you could be a priest and not... Traditionally, vicars oversaw a parish, but passed the tithes onto the rector of their region, who was the person who actually collected the tithes to the church. So a victor is a religious head, but one that doesn't have a budget. Huh. In your accent, pasta and pastor are pronounced the same. Ooh. That thing, what's your accent? What's your accent? Pasta. Are you like, do you talk like this? Do you talk about a pasta? Cause that would be exciting. Not Scouse. Oh, not Scouse, but yeah. Not Scouse, but Scouse. Okay, Fallbrook Crossroads. This is good. Cascadia, Fallbrook, Amber Heights, Stellar Bay. Oh, hi. There are people here. Hello.
Oh, hey there. Thanks again for getting me away from those marauders.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, last time I was in the city, Sanjar was singing your praises about a bolt something or other. Suppose that warrants a discount.
Thanks.
You want to buy something?
Sure. You know, you never did tell me how you got captured.
Oh, it's nothing out of the ordinary, really. I was on my way to Fallbrook and got jumped by insane, bloodthirsty cannibals.
Oh.
It happens.
Yeah. So every vicar is a priest, but not every priest is a vicar. Uh-huh. Lay ministers. So the rector would be the church person in charge of a region. Okay, while vicars represented the rector in the individual churches within that region. And vicars are priests. So you've got the vicar, okay, and the rector's in charge of a region, and the bishop then would be in charge of a larger region, right? Like So then what's a pastor? What's a pastor then? I've got water and I'm gonna give myself more water. Yeah, so what's a pastor?
No, don't be absurd. I'm based out of Stellar Bay, but I cater to our more, trailblazing clientele.
Oh, I must have missed it then. Hold on. If JR said it, then I missed it, and I need to see what it is. Sometimes chat goes fast. Oh, pastors are Protestant priests. Oh. Huh. Okay, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. Bishops often were rectors. Oh. So, may I ask, is rector a position, not a rank? Like, bishop is a rank, right? So and I imagine priest is also a rank. So is vicar and rector a position? A ranked position? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, okay. Okay. So it's a position. Okay. Huh. Okay. I'm surprised you're so chipper about working out here.
Hey, life's too short to be worried about danger this and careful that. I'd rather just do my job and try and enjoy it.
Cool. Let's see what you got to trade. I've got a huge discount. Let's repair everything. I will accept that. And then let's also sell all of my junk. Because for Krellin. It's a bunch of things I'm clearly not going to get rid of right now. But I do maybe have some guns I could get rid of maybe again. I mean, I think about it. I mean, it's really getting rid of guns. Inventory management is just an excuse for me to hang out and chat with you all. Let's be fair. Sell. Vicar is one who stands instead, so vicar is not necessarily a religious position. Huh. I don't care about junk trooper. I care about all the non-junk. The Pope is the vicar of Christ, as in the earthly representation of Christ, since Christ is not physically visible on earth anymore. Oh. Well, that is interesting. Huh. But we are going to use vicar in a religious context, right? I mean, it would be weird if I called myself the vicar of, I don't know what, something random, right? Yes? In an Anglicism, it's a title. And I'm thinking about the song Vicar in a Tutu by the Smiths.
Fallbrook's on the other side of the bridge there if you need a drink. We're only halfway to the mountain, so might consider stopping in.
So you want me to stop into Fallbrook? Is that what you want me to do? Is that what this is all about? Like, this is a go to Fallbrook situation right now? Well, I mean, I do want to go here. But oh, maybe I don't want to go there because maybe I'll be in trouble if I go there. So yeah, well, let's go to Fallbrook. We're gonna see a new town. We're gonna see a new town, everybody. We're gonna see a new town. So vicar is usually one without an official position in and of themselves, but holds power because someone else left their power in the vicar's hands. Second thought, let's not go to Fallbrook. It's a silly place. Fallbrook is the place to be. Oh, wait. Fallbrook is the place to be. Farm living is a life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep still or bay, just give me that countryside. Ba-da-da-ba-ba, da-da-da-da-da. Thank you, Ambar. Thank you. Thank you. New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue. Ba-da-da-ba-ba, da-da-da-da-da. The chores. Da-da-da-da-da. The stores. Da-da-da-da-da. Fresh air. Da-da-da-da-da. Times Square. You are my wife. Goodbye, city life. Green Acres, we are there. I'm just wondering how long it is until Ava Gabor, like, divorces him. That's my question. That's all. That is my question. Such a 50s show, she doesn't even get a vote. Nope. I'm just saying. Thank you, Rissa. I try. Good old Jaja. I should take this gun away. We're in Fallbrook, everyone. And I feel like...
Trouble checking in? Or
No.
You might need directions to the amenities? If you're locked out of your cabin, a replacement key costs 50 bits.
Where am I? What is this place?
Guess it's true. Fallbrook really is the best kept secret in all of Monarch.
I think it was Ava.
Excepting the Borst Factory's secret ingredient. We're a leisurely stopover for the more adventurous spacefaring traveler. Understand?
No.
Man, oh man, it has been a blue moon since I had to break out the hook'em spiel.
What? Okay.
Allow me to paint a picture.
There are three sisters, Ava, Jaja, and
Parcel of pure
Magda.
paradise nestled beneath a waterfall within a mountain. We've got activities of leisure. We got proclivities for vice. We got booze and bets and non-communal beds.
Oh.
Sublight owned and run, so you know you're safe while you're breaking the laws. Check in at the saloon to start spending your bits now.
Oh.
I am here to anticipate and facilitate your needs, patron.
Well, tell me about the amenities.
No reservation, no problem. Day trippers are always welcome in our saloon.
Oh.
Straight back and to the right. If you hit the falls, you've gone too far.
Oh.
Check in with Ms. Malin. She'll set you straight.
Okay, well, Lilia sent me, so where's Catherine?
You're looking for Ms. Malin.
Yeah?
On an errand for the boss lady?
Yeah?
That sounds ominous.
Oh.
Ms. Malin won't like that a whit.
Oh. It's okay. Just point me towards Ms. Malin.
She's not but just down the way. A 10 to 1 says she's either pouring drinks or skinning a sprat in the saloon. Word to the wise. Ms. Malin don't take kindly to interlopers. When I said sprat, I didn't mean the sort with whiskers and a tail.
So she murders people. Okay, well, I'll be back. This guy seems very stressed out.
Time for a round of whist. Or a round of whiskey. Or both.
Yeah, it was Ava. So, I have some questions about all of this. There seemed to be suspiciousness. Hello? So we're going to talk to this person. Ooh.
Take a gander at that mug.
Yeah, you too.
I've never seen someone so adept looking my whole life.
Love your mustache.
Watch yourself, Captain. This guy's got eyes like a sprat set on stealing your dinner.
Oh, now, come on. All I mean is, well, rather that,
Yeah?
you don't seem like the usual pigeons we pluck.
Thanks.
No offense, of course, if you are a Byzantium goldblood.
No.
I'd like to do you a favor.
Yeah?
Might I interest you in a surefire scheme? Wink, wink.
Who is this person? Okay, I'm gonna say, did you just say wink at me instead of actually winking?
Don't believe I did. No. Wink. Pure and simple, it's like this. I run our drug delivery service. Recently, I had the genius idea to cut costs in half by swapping our autoloaders with faster, cheaper sprats.
I'm going to lie. That is a stroke of sheer brilliance.
See? I know a fellow genius when I clap eyes on him. Too right you are. Only problem is my sprat carriers ain't arrived from their latest run. As I was saying, you look more capable than most of the hoople heads around these parts. What say you locate him and retrieve the goods for me? In return, I'll cut you 5%.
He totally does.
Profit.
Make it 30 plies plus a sample of goods you got a deal. Yeah, charm.
30?
Yeah.
35%?
Yeah.
Are you
No.
If I wasn't recovering from a bout of Morgellons, I wouldn't stand for this. But things are what they are, so I'll agree to it. But not 0.5% more.
Great.
My Sprat carriers scurry back and forth through the shipping tunnels. Any trail ought to start there. When you've got the goods, I'll be here.
Pleasure doing business with you. That was great. I'm going to take 35% because I am going to be running around in tunnels, maybe getting murdered. So I feel like it's fair. And I bet this would be thievery. So I'm not going to thieve anything because I've got too many people who want to murder me already. Rude. Rude. But I love how he does. He wants to believe his own BS so bad. Speaking of which, hey, wasn't that a real fun solo episode of City of Light and Shadows with Jules the other day? I was very excited about it. I had a good time. There was a lot of drama. I wanna steal all of the things, everyone. And I feel very oppressed that I cannot steal all of the things. Here, I'm just gonna steal these little things. Now I feel better. Yeah, I had a good time, and because it was so interesting because you know, he asked me if I was gonna do all 4 of the solo episodes at the same time. Ooh, yeah, sadness and murder all at once, and he left witnesses. He left witnesses because, as he said to Luke, you don't just murder women. That's not brave cowboy behavior, you know? And he followed through with what he said to Luke when he was confronted with that maid who, you know, she's not like a bad person, really. She was a maid and now she's a chance to be a countess. And so she took that chance. Like, it's, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. It'll be interesting to follow amongst the rest of the group. Yeah, for both of those solo episodes, I'm very excited. And you don't just murder women. You got to kill the children too. Yeah. Otherwise, like, what are you doing? Hello, the chef?
No, but
no, the chat. Sorry.
As I am.
Wait, what?
Oh, you're still here. I said I don't require anything at this time. Run along now. I've had more than enough to satisfy my thirst for one evening.
Evil ideas are great. I love evil. Rissa doesn't want to give me evil ideas. Yeah, there's a lot, and it's interesting. I counted. He had 7 group fate points. He had 2 of his own. That's 9. He used up all 9 of those. He got 1 from a compel, which was 10. I think he went through 10 fate points, and I went through 1 as well. Just, I'm knowing it. Yes. So that was interesting. Felt for the JF though, did a phenomenal job. Going to really complicate things and really develop some stuff. That's for sure. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the thing I wanted to tell you. Like, if the rest of the group picks up on the psychological changes, yeah. I would have the maid talk to Lisette. Oh, you know she will. They're gonna talk to each other. They live in the same house. They're going to talk to each other. Yeah. That's a thing. That's a thing. They're gonna have some conversations.
The fella swore Fallbrook was unrivaled in its leisurely pursuits, but it seems to me the whole town is designed primarily to leech one's bits. And now that I've run dry, or nearly so, the fellas have abandoned me back to Byzantium. You wouldn't leave a friend in need, I'm sure. Don't suppose I could just ask you to scram.
Okay, but where can I find Catherine?
Can't fathom why you'd go searching her out. But it's your neck on the noose. I was told she runs the saloon.
I like this guy's eyebrows. This guy's got great eyebrows, by the way. Yeah, that maid is going to have a really rough day or 3. Yeah. You know what's really interesting? I wonder how Lisette feels about Jules after the murders. It's a very good question. And sadly, it's going to be harder for Jules to get around unless his cleaners do an excellent job. Well, it depends on where, right? I mean, the cleaners are actually one of their faction aspects. They took that as one of their aspects, and it's now coming into play now. And Paris has got a number of colonial subjects. So that won't be so hard for him unless they... But getting back to that estate to see Lizette's going to be a bit of a problem. That's going to be a problem. Being able to see her again and give her all the things that he's held, that's going to be a bit of a problem. And then get to be able to recall 2 people being murdered in front of her, whether she wants to or not. Yeah. They were probably guards that weren't very kind to her. Why would she care that much? Yes. Yes. There are important Nazis that come to Bricktops. Yes, there are. Like, there's a... Yeah. Yeah. It's what's really interesting is that he didn't actually leave witnesses except for her. And that maid is not going to Bricktops. But there are... Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Sublight employees.
Seen Arthur today?
Nah, last time I saw him was...
He... What I will say is that he did he made some really smart moves by stealing...
He got crushed during the bridge collapse.
Obvious things to make this seem like a robbery. Making it seem like a robbery is actually really, really good. Because if it didn't seem like a robbery, that would be really bad. Because then they're going to start asking questions.
Stuff all right, but it looks like he's not home. Let's search the room. Try to figure out where he's gone.
Okay. Sure. Let's do that. We will do that definitely, but can you all come in the room? Can you all come in the room completely? Because I would like to close the door. Yeah, just come in so that I can close the door. I just want to... No, don't leave. There. I want to close the door so that I can take all of the things. That is it. She might not care about them getting murdered, but she might care about Jules murdering. Yeah. But she's also been having a really bad time. They're going to question her. The question is how well she describes him. Yes. That is the question. How well she describes him is going to be the question. And yeah, I'm ooh. And there's the thing is there's gonna be a lot of really interesting fallout all around. Oh, this is what I wanted to tell you. I was talking to JF, and JF is like, oh, you know, I thought you were gonna do are you gonna do all 4 of the solo sessions all back to back, all 4 in a row? And like everyone has their own crosswords and we all come back together? And I said no. Is it really murder technically there's a war on? You can still murder during times of war. And I would say this is tricky. Oh yeah, he did what he needed to do, but that maid is a loose end. Yes, she is. Jules is a soldier and they were also soldiers, but you can still murder soldiers in a time of war. There's still things that count as murder. I'm not certain that this would count as murder, but if you're a soldier and they're a soldier, you can still murder them. Because there are engagements. So if they're a soldier and I'm a soldier and we happen to be in town and then I just kill them, that would be murder. That would not be within the rules of engagement. So what I would say is, it's a little tricky. I would say for, those were excellent murder rolls. I was like, wow. For the Nazis, they would definitely be considered murder because he's not recognized as a soldier, right? So because he's not recognized as a soldier, that would definitely be murder for the Germans. He sees himself as a soldier, as a member of resistance, as a member of the resistance. So let's say after the war, when France takes over, that would probably not count as murder. And although it wasn't necessarily, yeah, and he was on a mission. He was on a resistance mission trying to sort of cultivate a contact. So I would say, does Lisette know he's resistance? Yes. It's more, does someone see you different if you find out they're capable of killing? That's a good question. for the Vichy, it's murder. Yeah. Right? For Vichy, it's murder. For the Germans, it's murder. After the war, probably not. After the war, I would say it wouldn't be. So, and maybe also, and the question, but here's the interesting question. Yeah, he's dropped some pretty big hints, and he's like, get information for us, right? He uses the word us. So yes. I think what's interesting is that the question is it murder for Jules? That's the question. That's the question that I think is one that I want to answer. Here's the other thing that I think is really interesting. Jules, for the way that Fate uses its system, its hit point system, Jules is in a really bad way. He has filled up all of his mental stress boxes. His physical stress boxes are completely empty, but he has 3 consequences and 2 out of those 3 are filled. So, yes, see, Krone, that is correct. For Jules, the maid would have been murder, the guards, not so much. Yeah, I think that's true. Now, for somebody else, the maid might not have been murder either. There are people for whom the maid is a collaborator and she should die, and it would have been totally fine to kill her. But I think for Jules, he drew that moral line wherein and like Jules is also a communist, right? He's a working man, and he sees that maid as also just she's a collaborator, right? Collaborateur, but also just a working person, right? So he drew that moral line, and for him, that's where that line is. And I think other people could have drawn that line differently. And it's interesting. So he's basically he's in a very dangerous spot. Our Jules, he's in a dangerous spot, in terms of safety, right? He's got the combat shakes. He's racked with guilt. His mental stress is all capped out. When we get to the next session, he's going to clear one of his mental stress. And he can clear that mental stress by doing things like by de-stressing. But, he's in a hard spot is what I'm going to say. A hard spot. Oh, but he kept the same line he expressed to Luke when they were talking about killings. That is exactly right. He did. And there was like, he was morally consistent in that moment. He's like, that's not the person. And he kept that line. And I think that's one of the things that I think will sort of help him. But what's really interesting is that he was like, we don't, JF was like, oh, I thought you'd do all 4 in a row. And I was like, no, because they have to happen when it's time, right? So I figure we'll probably do about 2 more group episodes and then 2 more solo episodes and then the final 2, something like that. Basically, it needs to be ready, right? There needs to be a moment where, because these solo episodes represent like an important character moment, and Regina is almost there. Her solo episode has almost emerged. I can almost see it. Tango's has not emerged yet, but it's getting there. So they have to. Yeah, Jules is mixed race. His mother is from Martinique, and his father was a white Frenchman. So yeah, he's mixed race, and that is his trouble aspect. As a matter of fact, that is his trouble aspect, and that is what gets him. That's what gets him into trouble, and it has on multiple occasions. But he's also then used it to his advantage. Yeah, that makes the bakery yeah. His mother was from his mom got fired. His mom had worked there for 10 years, but in a forward-facing job like that, where you're gonna have a lot of Germans coming in, yeah, his mom has to get fired. That's it. Nazis look at mixed race even worse than full minority races. Yeah, mixed race people the Nazis did not like race mixing at all. That was like a big problem for them. They did not like mixed race people. Mixed race Roma they did not like. I mean, they did not like mixed race people. That was a big thing for them. And so, Yeah. So the mom had to go. The mom had to get fired, and all of that sort of weighing on him. And I'm really interested to see what happens when our group, because we're gonna get the group all back together. I'm really interested to see what happens when they all get back together and how, because they're all dealing with some intense mental. Well, I mean, they did still consider the French Frankish. They did, but no, the French are fine. The French are fine, which is why they did not like the mixed race French and non-French people. Like if you were mixed race French and Roma, French and Black, whatever, they were not into that. They were really not into race mixing. They, you know how they are. Wait, what is this? Day 152, location, conditions fair, report. I can't believe I'm still stuck in this law-forsaken town, but at least I think I may have finally found a spot with promise. Down the tunnel, on the riverbank outside of town. Produced 1 nugget and 2 teeth. I wonder if I could find a dentist who'd pay something for the teeth.
Sounds like Cheney's gone gold panning down on the river. I guess even scholars need to find ways to make ends meet in exile.
Yes. Here's the thing, y'all. What is this? This is an eviction. I need to close my stream now, but I feel like I'm not... I can't close the stream until I go into this building, because this building is parallel to the other building, and so I have to clear out this room as well, just for symmetry's sake. It's a symmetry situation. All right. A lot of things in here, but there are also people in here, so we're not going to do that. We are going to park ourselves right here so that all of this is before us, and this is where we're going to save our game, and then we're going to do our end chat. Save, yes. Okay. That's it. Didn't accept. Tango's could have been with the American pilot, but now there isn't much of a for solo. So the thing is, for me, these solo stories are about personal goals, but also, yeah, they still have little mini solos already. But it's also they're about giving them moments to really dig into their character in interesting ways. And Regina has got one on the horizon. There are a couple of things that will work for her. That I can see her, like her solo episode. I'd like to see another group session. Ooh, pardon me. I'd like to see another group session for her before I think her solo episode will really emerge. And Tango's got a couple of different things that are possible for him. He's got a couple of different things that are possible, but like right now, Regina is much clearer in my mind about like what a Regina solo episode would look like. And I've chatted with Dot about it a little bit as well and when I chat with them about their solo episodes, I ask them like, are there any specific things that your character really wants to do? Like that you want to do, like, Sylvie wanted to go and try to get Dimitri out of Drancy, and Jules wanted to go and put the flowers on the grave, the building of his wife and daughter, and he wanted to see Lisette. So he had some things that he wanted to do, and there are things that Regina has got going on that are like that will be good things for her character that I think that are like happening in the world that will be useful for her. And I think, yeah, you could also see Tango having to sing Mouse, yeah. And so I think right now with Tango, he has got stuff going on, but I'm waiting for it. Do you know what I mean? I'm waiting for it. And I think like I've got ideas bubbling in my mind of where it could go, but I just want 1 or 2 more episodes with him as a group for me to see. You know what I mean? Like, I think some of these things need to happen a little bit organically, because I never want to force it, right? I always want to see these things happening in the right way so that it really has the best impact on the characters. Because here's the thing, they get, oh, I don't know if you know this, this just came out, they just redid, they've been, you know, Fate Condensed, they have been doing edits on it from time to time, and they have renamed, so there's, in Fate Core, there are 3 different types of milestones, minor, major, and significant, I think. And Fate Condensed just has 2, minor and significant, or minor and major, but they've actually just renamed them because they thought it was a little bit confusing. So now the minor milestone is just called a milestone, and what was the major milestone is now being called a breakthrough, which I really like that. I like the phrase breakthrough. So like if you have a breakthrough, then you have this moment. And for me, it's where I'm kind of thinking about these characters, that I want them to have a breakthrough in their solo session in some kind of a way. And so far, both Sylvie and Jules have had these breakthroughs in their solo sessions. And because I'm giving them a breakthrough, like you do your solo session and you get a breakthrough, you get to up a skill, you get it's an XP bonus. And so I want them each to be able to really get a breakthrough that really feels right. And I can see it shaping up for Regina. Like I can see her breakthrough shaping up. And I just need a little bit more for Tango, and I think we'll get it. Like because he's had some stuff going on emotionally, but now I just need a little bit more. But that's, oh, so I should tell you, by the way, I was holding off on telling you this, but I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you where you can find me next week. Next week, I have 8 streams. Next week. I'm just letting you know that I have got, yeah, you're like, well, it's like, I can see a breakdown coming for Regina. Yes, and I am interested. Yeah, I'm doing 8 streams next week. So let me tell you what they are. Wednesday at 11 on Praxagora, thus Mephoria's channel, I'll be playing a game of Firebrands. Instead of doing the classic on Switch, I'll be doing a game of Firebrands. And then Wednesday night on Little Red Dot's channel will be more Nova, the Overlight campaign. And then on Thursday, it will be the premiere of the 4-shot miniseries, A State of Affairs, a Good Society channel, a Good Society game over on Table Story, and that is from 6 to 9. And because my stream is normally at 6 to 9, but I clearly cannot stream from 6 to 9 because I'll be doing a Good Society, that's a 4-shot, I will be then doing my regular video game stream from 10 to, 11 or midnight. Mainly because I realized having only one video game stream means I don't get to talk to you all, and that makes things madness. Friday, I will be doing 2 streams. At 1 p.m. over on Tales from the Grim will be Aether's Walkway, GM'd by White Rabbit. And then 7 p.m. on my channel will be City of Light and Shadow. Saturday will be noon, will be Outer Worlds. 2, 4, 6. And then Sunday at 1 p.m. at Tales from the Grim will be the final episode of the Capers show, Seraphim Station, which is the Capers Offworld show, where I'm playing a Peacock Fellow, and that's GM'd by Grimjack. So that's, I hope that CR doesn't, I can't imagine they're going to come back in the next month, right? I can't imagine that's going to happen. We're still in kind of lockdown mode, and it's only 4 episodes, so I figured I'd be safe to be doing some video games in the CR interim. I feel like I'm safe, and I feel like I'll be done. And so next week is 8 streams, 6 RPGs, and 2 video game streams. But after that, Seraphim Station is done, and that'll take that off my thing, and I won't be doing the extras show. Although, you know what, to be honest, I need to go and do a guest series I need to do another guest spot over on Ghosts from Saltmaw, over on Other Doc, because Origami Shuriken is awesome and I love her. And so I need to do that, and I don't know, I might be doing that next Sunday, which will make 9 streams. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Yes, house hunting. House hunting. And that's what I'm doing next week. So next week is a bunch of streams and also house hunting, but I can't visit the apartment, so it's all got to be done through email, which I'm sad about, but I don't have a car, so that is my life. That said, let me tell you, if you want to follow, right, you can, I feel like the follow button's there. Is it? No, it's there. It's that way. You can follow if you like, or subscribe here. And also, I've got socials, which Jer thankfully has shared. We have Discord. You can join us on Discord if you like. You can follow me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter, which is my tweet space. You can come and see the archives of our shows on YouTube, which is at Trooper SJP. And if you want to support on Patreon, which supports our show, RPGs, then you can support me on Patreon, which is also at Academic Foxhole. So, I, right now, am going to go and get some mac and cheese with pulled pork, barbecue pulled pork. That is what I'm going to order. It will take a while to get here, but I'm ordering it and I'm going to eat it and it's going to be delicious. And Rissa is saying that we should get the mac and cheese, but I can't. I can't get the mac and cheese because I need to sing not just for Rissa, but also for B-Right. Also for B-Right, because B-Right gave me bits earlier, and I did not sing because I got distracted. But I'm going to sing for both B-Right and for Rissa. We're in the Money, in Pig Latin, as sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers 1933. Irway hey the anime. Irway and hey the anime. Ewe at gale at way of way at way at wakes to tit gale on way. Irway and hey the anime. Either I skays or ani sang. Old man did yash and pray. Ooh yare ooh pay you a stay on way on rayo. Ewe every e bread lay on say of way at bread say oot dang. And when we see the end, the Lord will look at the eye, gar in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Woo! Look, here's the thing. I don't know if I'll be able to play the banjo on Saturday, but it's the summer and it's banjo time, and so we're gonna put those Saturdays back. What I might do is, because I haven't played in a while, is play the songs I played before, but try to maybe do 2 at a time so I can try to get those back in my fingers and then start pushing on to new ones. And that, Volpez and Rissa and B-Right, thank you for the bits. And take care of yourselves. Go eat some food, stretch your legs, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, everybody.